happening? What's happening? What's happening, y'all? Woo! Welcome. Funk Music with Zack right here on IBM TV. Yeah, we got a real special treat for y'all today. But before we get started, I need everybody out there. Hello. I need you to kind of get your groove on side to side. Come on. If you're feeling good, clap your hands. Funk Music with Zack. Right here. Woo! Every week, y'all. What's up, New York? How you doing, Heidi? What's up, Texas, Ohio, Missouri, California, you in the house? Washington State, Canada, where you at? Strong Island, Bayshore, New York, where y'all at? Queens, Georgia, where you at? North Carolina, South Carolina, West Virginia, where you at? Virginia, you in the house, where my people at? Florida, where you at? New Orleans, come on. Australia, across the water. What's up, Carmen? How you doing, Wendy? Germany, you feeling me? Candy Soul Sister, Steady Groove. T-Ville Radio, where you at? Philly Phil, where you at? Keith Jackson, DC. Come on. It's time to get pumped up. Funk Music with Zack. Feeling good today. MPLS, Minneapolis, where you at? Woo! We coming in hot today, y'all. The weather's getting nice. Today, my very special guest, I'm going to bring right here, right now, another member of my family. Y'all put your hands together. Lo is in the house. What's up? What's up, bro?
What's up? How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Doing very well this morning. Doing very, very well.
Man. God bless you, man. Thank you for joining us today on Funk Music with Zack right here on IBMTV.tv. I know I come in hot, bro. You got to be ready for me. I come in blistering. You can't be sitting on the side. As soon as you get in, I'm dropping you 3-pointers because we come in burning every time we do a show.
No, I need that energy. We need that energy, especially nowadays.
Yo, man, that's what's happening, man. Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm an Aries, I'm fire. So when I come in, my people are like, all my guests like, wow, you're so calm. And you talk, right? Just like we did a minute ago. And then all of a sudden, bang, it's time to hit that rocket fuel, man. So peace, love, blessings, and harmony. To everyone joining the show today, thank you guys, for tuning in. I know a lot of people out there are still hurting. Know that we're with you. Know that God loves you. Know that we bless you. And we're trying to give you an hour and a little bit, of some entertainment and some valuable information and some harmonious thoughts for you guys to carry forth with you out there into the world. And this gentleman, Logan Gentry, his family and, I work with his mom, and he's got some really good thoughts and insights to share, as well as his amazing music. And we're going to start there. I just want to, make sure that everybody out there, if you feel in some kind of way and you need to reach out to one of us, please get active on the chat. Know that there are many people here at IBMTV.tv that care about you. And, we don't want you to feel some kind of way. So you can always call one of us. Main shouts out to my main man, Mark Lee, behind the glass, my brother from another mother, keeping the production tight for us. So thank you, Mark, for that. You're always tight, and I appreciate everything that you do. And also, I want to give honor and thanks to the Most High for making this happen. So, Lo, how you doing, man? How's your family?
I'm doing good. Hi, Mom. How you doing?
You got that in.
She is in here. I've been good. Go through all the stuff real fast. The same things that a lot of us are experiencing. Those waves. It comes and goes in waves.
Yeah, it does.
And now that I had the opportunity, I feel like the biggest thing that I have really come into is joy. And not in the corny way, not in that corny way, but like a really understanding of what that means and having like a consistent headspace
Yep.
regardless of that the waves in which
Yes.
it comes and goes. And like
Yes.
I think a unique thing that's going on right now is that not to overblow it, but like there's like kind of like a mass mourning that
Yes.
we're all going through because there's a trauma in a way that's taking place. But all that said to say, doing good.
Yeah.
Much calmer than I have been in a long time. For people who know me and anybody I send out to that I'd be doing to say to a few friends. And for anybody who knows me, calmness is not necessarily a synonymous character trait of mine. I tend to be I'm a person of it. It's funny that you said that about yourself because I'm a person of extremes, and either I'm like this,
yes,
or not at all.
That's why we relate. Yes. I think that what you mentioned a minute ago about this mass mourning thing. I kind of think that is something that we all. Let me just readjust everything here for a minute. I think that is something that we all have been going through because of the fact that where we are, we had never been before collectively as human beings. So
not all at once, certainly
not
all.
yeah. And it was a thing where it kind of just took a lot of energy and life out of us. It just zapped us, man. And I really am grateful to and honored to have people such as yourselves, young artists and old artists and in between artists coming on to promote, peace, love, joy, and happiness, because we need that. Like, the spirit has you in the right spot at the right time, because people need what you have to offer to get through this thing you just said, So to get through this thing we call life. That's why today I was repping my Purple Rain shirt. I don't know. I just felt like a little princey today.
It's funny that you said that, because like as soon as you said get through this thing called life, I immediately like had a flashback. I'm like 6 years old, and the first time I saw Purple Rain, I was like, didn't mean as much to me then as it does now, obviously. But
yeah. It's everything happens with me instinctively. So I was like, Mark can tell you, I'm always like looking through shirts. My daughter sends me t-shirts. That's all I ever want was t-shirts. So I have so many t-shirts and hats. And I was like, okay, I know I got something that I'm feeling today with this purple.
Sure, you really can.
Yeah. That's cool, man. So Kansas City right now, how are they dealing with before we get into the music thing, how are they dealing with a lot of the social aspects and ills of this virus, this poverty, and what some people may call the plandemic? You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna start at the beginning of your sentence and work my way back.
Yeah.
Address the plandemic for me, like, enough because I had that conversation recently. It's like, even if it was, what does it matter about what you're going to do about it? Like, even if it was, like, my response to that was like, I'm still going to have to be responsible for how I carry myself through. Like, I didn't get to choose that it happened. It isn't any more than I got to choose being here on this planet. But what am I going to do with that energy now that it's here? What am I going to do with it? And then to the like the social aspect, it's kind of weird for me because I'm Missouri born and raised. I've been like physically based in Springfield, Missouri for a while now. Okay. And then I go back to Kansas City periodically. And I'll answer that question by like kind of pointing out a contrast that I've observed. And like I stated earlier, I feel like it kind of started off with kind of like this mass mourning situation just everywhere, and even in the Midwest, even in Missouri. And I'm certain that a lot of it comes from the fact that most of the time as Americans, we've kind of had the luxury of being like, oh, that struggle's happening over there, and not like it's not bad, but I'm going to go ahead and distract myself and go handle A, B, and C. But now there's not A, B, and C to go distract yourself with. And all that anyone has to do is think about the same thing, and that same thing is bad. So everyone's kind of sad now. It in recent days, it's kind of stepping more into people trying to find ways to I would say by and large, step out and be normal, but with wisdom. Like trying to find a way to be social, to connect with other people, because regardless of a pandemic, we're humans. we're set up that way. Like we're not set up to just, I'm just gonna hide in the house all day. I was talking about
Right.
that because we can probably talk about this a little later into it, but like just finding physical venues that are doing their due diligence to do something the right way and with wisdom and with caution, and not because there has to be a middle ground with anything. There has to be a middle ground because you can't just go off into the streets and be reckless, just doing whatever you want, because that's dangerous and crazy. And you can't justifiably just tell a whole planet, country, state, city, people like go hide in your house and don't ever leave. Don't leave it. Like that just don't work out for everybody in a good, healthy way. It just don't. Like I know plenty of people who have FaceTime me, called me like, bro, I'm so sad. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm sure you are. You've had yourself and your own thoughts to hang out with for much longer than you ever planned to. But it's real interesting to kind of see the contrast between like a smaller city like Springfield, which is progressing and faster in some ways, just because I feel like, yes, there are social cultural elements to where folk don't care as much around here, but then also like I feel like the very practical observation of there's less people,
right?
So there was always less impact in a city like Springfield as opposed to like Kansas City. It's bigger. There's a lot more going on there, and they're also progressing, and some smaller venues are trying to do things, and the energy. I was there recently. I was actually there this week, and I was spending time with my baby sister. I did her hair for her. And the energy there is a lot better, and definitely the weather is helping. I figured it would, and it was kind of funny too because at my old job, my old day gig that I was with until the end of last week, just the first day when the sun was out, just really out, and it was kind of warm, you could just see, even the people who weren't aware that that's what was going on, just how it just lifted things. So like there's definitely a shifting in the atmosphere. So
totally. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because since I'm down with this music thing and we can't actually do anything and the whole thing is shut down right now, some things are opening up. I'm from New York, but down here in North Carolina, a lot of things are like 50% now. And yesterday, like you said, for the first time, man, when I was driving around doing Lyft, because the Uber app doesn't work, right? I was driving around doing Lyft, and I could not believe how many people were out, bro.
And out doing things that I feel like hadn't been a standard for like a decade, like out walk, which I'm like, my whole thing was my genuine hope, period, was that people figure out a way to just go do something. I do think it's a plus that people are doing things that haven't been a thing to do. I feel like it's popularly since I was a little kid, was like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go to the park, we're gonna go walk, because like I want to get out of my house, but I ain't trying to be up on top of people. And like, but like you're saying, like seeing people. Yeah.
And people were out, and you could tell that they had this optimistic energy, this thing. And that will definitely bleed over into our business, at some point. But again, and I had spoke with Heidi about this as well. And for those of you just hanging out, we got Logan Gentry. He goes by the name of Lo. He's a fantastic artist. We're going to get into his music. We're going to drop 2 of his tracks today, Gold and Lovers and Kids. So right here on IBM.TV. And thank you for the IBM TV Dollar Store. We appreciate you guys and the sponsors. Thank you, Kim and Nick. We appreciate that. Funk Music with Zack right here. And so when I was out and I thought about having you on the show today, right? And I was like, man, tomorrow, there's a few things that we can get into because we need to understand how we can pivot. We've all had to pivot. I've been blessed, to pivot to this. Mark helped me and set me up with this stuff and whatever, right? So it's we all have to pivot. Now I'm thinking to myself, okay, as things get like to this place where things are safe, then we're gonna have to pivot back. You know what I mean? Go ahead, I'll let you take it. Go run with it.
So I was talking with a few people recently about this, and there's like a whole plan of action that I kind of am spearheading. It's so weird to refer to myself in a way like that. Anyway, which was
it's good.
really the overall message that I had for my friend group, who is a bunch of these crazy talented artists, my own producer, his name is Harrison. Shout out to producers, your producer, my producers. Like things like this, cool things, they don't happen without the people who are like, yeah, we're gonna do all the stuff, make you look cool. The people who make you look cool, shout out. Thank you, producers.
Right. Mark.
But my biggest thing was courage and wisdom. And I say that so my mom can hear me say it again, because she already heard me say this once. She doesn't like anything that I'm about to say next. But as I was saying, like looking for venues doing their due diligence to like try and do it right. And I was sitting there talking with a friend. We were basically just going through stuff for me and like trying to like figure out a way to make a game plan for this year that was practical, attainable, and with a little bit of risk involved. Because like if you're not risking anything, like what are you doing? But not reckless. But with that said, my goal was to look for venues who are doing that, because like right now is a time like no other. Yes, there's all of this struggle going on, and not to like advocate a mentality of like any kind of like parasitic mindset or behavior, but like now is a time and a moment for artists at my level who are kind of more emerging or more that mid-level artists to make their presence known in a way that they couldn't before. And as I was saying to my friends, like the big names, they're not doing touring. They're not doing any sort of live situation at all till 2022 at best, because the kind of crowd that they will pull would be reckless. It just would be. They can't do it because their fan base is so large. They'd either have to go out of their way to not tell anyone. But the minute that these big artists try to do anything in a physical sense, immediate reckless, immediate danger, immediate shut that down. They don't want that attached to their brand. No, should they?
No, that's right.
But for me, I can be a mid-level artist, go to a town that used to be what people would consider the middle of nowhere, fill up a venue at half capacity, do it right, do it with some common sense, establish a presence for myself. There's a vacuum there, combined with the fact that there are so many people who are like, I've been in my apartment staring at my walls for weeks, months. Oh my God. Like literally, I've had conversation after conversation after conversation after conversation. I can keep going. People, and I just haven't had anything to do. And like, there are people all levels of income right now, but there's a chunk of people out there who are sitting on money that they could save, but they don't have to. And they are bored.
That's right.
Depressed.
And
for me, yes, I ain't gonna sit here and lie like I ain't trying to make a name for myself. Of course I am. I would like to get to a place where I can at least kind of pay my bills doing things I would prefer to do. But also, like what you said earlier, I crave nothing more than to establish a very real physical place, because we're real physical people. Technology is great. This phone that I have right now, allowing this to happen, is amazing. But there's always that element to our humanity that craves that experience. That burns itself into your memory, that thing that you flash back through when you pass from this world, those thoughts that your brain scans over, that you got to touch and smell and taste and hear with like all your senses. And I'm super about figuring out ways to allow people to experience that joy in their humanity with some safety and some wisdom. And just, it's an amazing thing to be born into the world and have a gift that allows you to stand in a room full of people and just look at them, just be fully bought into an experience. They're not thinking about what bills they have to pay tomorrow, or what's going to be in their fridge, or what assignment they have due, or what deadline they have. They're just there vibing, hopefully chilling, and just it's a weird kind of meditation that I would only, for me, like I go to the gym a lot, but to just be present in your body, fully present in your body, mind not wandering and hyper focused on anything. You're just there. And if I can be in some part of healing in that part of someone's life, you got doctors, you got lawyers, you got therapists, but there's that experiential thing that can only happen as you experience it. And that's an area in this world where I know I can excel at. So I'm, just trying to figure that out. But
kudos, man, bravo. And touch on a few things that you mentioned. Again, we're hanging out with Lo. He's kind enough to join us, and we appreciate it. We're going to get into some of his music in a second, but right now we're on this philosophical conversation, and we kind of organically let things go on the show sometimes. And I'm gonna jump into this real quick and then get into the next thing. But we're put here to do that. At this time and place and space, we are spiritual beings in a physical body. And I always tell people, what you just mentioned is so spot on, because whatever artists do, on stage artists and performers, I'm speaking in specifics, it only happens that one time. Even for us, we can go back and duplicate it, but it'll never be the same. It's always going to be evolving and changing. So when you mention that human experience and you grab that, we take that on into the next realm with us. These things we're put here. We're tools. I always say musicians, performers, we're tuning forks. We're instruments of the earth, of the creator. All we're doing is vibrating this information through us, passing it on.
I like that. I talk about vibration all the time.
Yeah, man, use it, man. And passing it on to others that you said need to forget about that bill, that that relationship, that car payment. They come to us seeking, please take me away for a few hours. I'm getting goosebumps now. Take me away for a few hours so I cannot explode. So when I do go back and do my thing during the day or night or whatever, I'll have a sense of calm. I can think back when times get hard and I'm a trucker. Yeah, man. I was like, oh, man, yeah, I was at that dope concert, Low, man. He sang this song. And yeah, I remembered. And it kind of does take you right back to that space again. And thank God, artists like yourselves are constantly on the grind, and we appreciate that. So check this out. You dropped a couple of tracks, Gold and Lover's Kids. But before we get into that, you're into this thing and your kind of mantra, you're a musician creating a new sound with an old soul. So tell me about your old spirit and soul, because I know it's there. I see the smile on your face. I see the joy in your heart. So tell me about that. So
I don't when I say that about myself and when I hear that about myself, I almost feel the need to explain that it's not something that I try to put on, because sometimes people try to create this sense of oldness, and me, I'm kind of just always sensitive to it. So the minute I'm in the presence of it, even in the way that I go and get clothes, I love old stuff. But I don't know, I grew up in a musical family. I grew up constantly being exposed to music, constantly being around it. I was born into this world, the kind of human that is just strongly in tune with that. Mm-hmm. So when I hear things, I don't just hear things. I experience it in a way that is just kind of crazy, and it's hard to explain it to people. But when I hear music or when I create music, there's a whole concept of it, and there's just a literal movie going on in my head. Even right now, as I'm thinking and talking about it, I have to spend half my energy to bring it down into a way that is explainable and not have people look at me say, what was that?
Right.
But Prince, Coltrane, Lauryn Hill, Nat King Cole, Johnny Cash, Johann Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all things that I was exposed to, and I've never, ever at any point in my physical presence on this planet found myself to be the kind of person that says, I don't like this genre of music. I'm gonna sit here and oh no, that slaps. People are like, what? I'm like, hey, but it's country. I'm like, okay. Did you hear that? Did you hear that guitar lick? Did you hear it? Were you listening?
Right. Yeah,
or did you stop it? This packaging isn't my brand. I'm like, okay, but you're missing out. Sometimes that cheap bread makes some real good sandwiches.
Yeah, it does. That's right.
That's all I'm gonna say. So it's kind of just been a natural expression of how I am. I see, I remember at some point it comes out.
Yeah. The good thing about that is that organically speaking, from a creative point of view, it's always, I grew up again, well-rounded like you. My dad was a minister, Five Blind Boys, harmonizer for Mahalia Jackson was a steady in my house, as well as going to my sister's house, listening to Motown and the blues. Some of my uncles was into the jazz thing with Miles and Coltrane, so and again, Hee Haw was a big thing in New York on TV. That's how I got exposed to country music by Johnny Cash and, Jerry.
My grandfather.
Man, that was tight. And Roy Clark, hell of a banjo picking guitar player. Then after that, Lawrence Welk would come on, and I was like, "Oh, this German polka." So we was exposed. But see, one thing that New York always did, which was great, and I know other school districts did this a lot. They always exposed you, especially there, to all types of music. Like we used to do square dances and all kinds of stuff. So music was a thing. Either in New York, you played sports and or you took an instrument. It was mandatory. That's just what everybody in the neighborhood did. So again, I applaud you for being so well-rounded. And I know Heidi, had that background as well. And where your whole background is influenced by this plethora of sound, art, creativity. And again, it shows up in your music. I listen to some of your songs. They're beautiful. You got a real gift to that, So the 70s, 80s, and 90s, what were or who were some people besides some people that you just mentioned that you were like, okay, I hear what they're doing, so I'm gonna try to take a piece of this, because we all steal. I'm just curious.
Bee Gees. If I was just gonna name some things off the top of my head, the Bee Gees,
great writers,
just great writers. The songwriting, the melody, how deep
harmonies,
is your love? How deep is your love? I'm like, oh my god, like I love people. Love Destiny's Child, love Beyonce, but so many times folk want to like blah blah blah. I'm like, pause. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, you should be aware of.
Right.
And then, into the 80s. 80s is honestly like, I want to say that the 80s is my favorite time period. It's my favorite time period aesthetically.
Yeah.
Probably musically, late 60s, early 70s is really my favorite time period. But 80s, there was such a transition in what was allowed to be music at that moment. Like, you could do whatever. For me, kind of like starting in the 70s into the 80s, Queen. If somebody was going to ask me what my all-time favorite band was, it would be Queen. Right, and just the extravagance. Yeah. And I'm going to go out here and do what I want. And there are many artists, but in terms of like overall, like I feel like that and being exposed to that when I was like probably like 7, 8, I was like, oh, I can just do what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was literally it. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, so you can just
do what you want.
You can just do what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
And then in the 90s, this kind of goes back into Lauryn Hill, but I mentioned her once, but Lauryn Hill, and I kind of named some pretty like foundational things for me just then, especially the Miseducation. I'm so happy for that woman. I for those who are familiar with her history, there are certain I pray for her. It's really
she went through some things. That's why you heard me at the top of the show mention about, we're here for you if you ever need to talk. It's because we're very big advocates for the mental illness and what people go through, we're advocates for that here.
If she ever hears this, if I ever get the chance to meet her, she probably heard it all the time, but Miseducation with Lauryn Hill, I had that thing on repeat at a time in my life when it needed to be on repeat. Middle school, it's not, I don't think it's a fun time for really anyone. It's just awkward. Hormones are happening for the first time. Your brain is like, what is this? What is going on here? Where's the Play-Doh? Like, oh, Play-Doh's not enough anymore. Got it.
Yeah.
But just so much. I could sing that whole album back and front. For those of you who don't know, what it just platinum? No. Diamond. Just went diamond.
Yeah.
And I think she's like I think like the second woman and like maybe the 10th Black artist to have an album go diamond. I'm pretty sure all those things that I said were largely correct. But when I read that, I was just like,
yeah. As in March is National Women's History Month. So shout out to all the women out there. We ain't never gonna forget that. And just understanding where we are with the Kamala Harrises of the world, and just where our place in history is right now as far as Afro-American men and other races celebrating the Black woman, right? I am happy to see that some people are starting to get their just due, that should have been getting it all along. But the industry, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, is all twisted, crooked. The industry, I tell young people, and maybe you can elaborate on this, sir. The industry is like a pie that continuously gets sliced up, and then before you know it, it's like, you're like, well, I can't even keep track of all the stuff I'm supposed to do. I just simply want to make some music and put out good music, And so many people lose their way, not their ability to create, but they lose their way trying to live up to this illusion of what they think they should be, when God said, and the creator said, and the universe and the ETs and the aliens said, listen, just be you. And I heard interviews with Prince and everything. He said, I never sold one album. Prince said, I never sold one single record. And then he was with Lopez, the gentleman on the interview, and the George Lopez looked at him and said, you never sold one record? He said, no. He said, I make the music and people buy it. You know what I'm saying? He twisted it like that. He said he didn't care if he sold not even one. And honestly, that's deep.
And that's where I am. And I know a lot of other people have done it already. And not to kiss my own butt or anything, it was just weird because the mentality for me kind of just came from within.
Yeah.
And then the confirmation that wasn't insane was secondary.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, wait, okay, cool. And then you really, honestly said pretty much the same things that I say to my friends all the time. I was like, when I tell them all the time, I came to a realization that helped me calm down a lot. And that was that the only thing that matters is me doing my due diligence to be the best that I can at being me wherever I happen to be.
Yeah.
And if I'm worrying about anything else, then I'm distracting myself from the goal.
Yep.
Such and such's opinion about me is not my priority. It can't be my priority.
Yep.
Because at what point in time am I actually focusing on doing my due diligence for and through myself?
Yes.
If I'm busy being distracted by things.
Yeah. That's why you're in a higher light, because once we get to that next level of higher light and energy that you have and that you mentioned, and again, y'all, we're hanging out on IBMTV.tv with my man Lo. Once we get there, it's a piece of cake, because I felt a weight come off my shoulders when I finally did my original funk stuff and I started doing it whatever years ago. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to just do this. I ain't gonna worry about trying to imitate P-Funk. I ain't gonna worry about trying to imitate Cameo. I ain't Michael Jackson. I'm Zack. And the mind will trick you again with the illusion of stuff out here.
And
like, oh no. Yep.
And there's a desire for excellence where that comes from. But it should be about the excellence, not the comparison. Yeah. And when I encounter people, I'm fortunate that I've now reached the place where it's a very natural energy that comes out of me. I react with inspiration instead of envy.
Yes.
It's not about me being better than that person. It's about, okay, look what they did.
Yes.
They exemplified excellence. What skill set can I use from that? Can I observe? Can I implement? To further establish my own excellence and not to ruffle any feathers, I compare it to this. I'm like, there are a lot of people out here trying to drive cars, but at least half of them are busy being distracted by what's ever going on their phone. Yeah. So the way in which they're operating that vehicle starts to become poorer and poorer.
Counterproductive. Right. Counterproductive. Yes.
My car. I'm like,
yes.
You had one job really, which was to drive the car.
Right.
And he was doing everything else other than driving the car.
You're surrounded by 300 pounds of metal and glass and rubber. You need to get a grip on this.
It's like, put it down. Just whatever it is that you feel that you need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
That is outside of what you're responsible for. Put that down. Your responsibilities.
That's right.
And when you get where you're going, you can.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned you blend the rock, the R&B, the pop stuff, and all the artists you mentioned from Bach to Freddie Mercury, which is definitely on the Mount Rushmore frontmen. There's a lot up there, but what they did, phenomenal. Like in New York, we were always heavy into the metal rock thing and all of that, so we knew about all of that. their very first album, before they even got famous, we was into them, you know, because we used to import our stuff from England and listen to all of that stuff before it even got here in America. Like Zeppelin, I had every album they ever made. To the first couple I had before they even got here, because we imported that stuff, right? And because you're such a well-rounded young man and your spirit's in the right place, it seems like, you know, the music that you're getting ready to make, you know, you're going to put out and continue to put out some really genius stuff. And this song, Gold, tell me about that title. I'm going to have my producer, Mark Lee, run this track for a minute. He's going to set that up for us. And, you know, but set that up for us before we listen to that.
So the Gold comes off the first EP I've had the privilege of being able to release. Shout out once again to my producer, Harrison. Got your boy sounding cool out here, making me sound like a professional and stuff. The whole album EP is really just kind of like, this is who I am, in a sense. Gold specifically comes from that mindset when you find yourself in struggle. It may be struggle that was created for you. It may be struggle that you created for yourself, but there's struggle. And finding the internal strength, conviction, have you, to be committed, to be willing to double down on whatever it was you said you wanted for yourself, regardless of being potentially completely overwhelmed by struggle. And you've heard it said before that all that glitters isn't gold.
Yeah.
Mine is kind of a play on that what if it is? What if it is still gold? Like, what if the world is burning down? Everything is terrible, but the things you wanted for yourself are still worth it. They still are. What if it cost you everything? And like, you'll even hear it in the lyrics, but it's like, really, I would almost describe it as reckless determination. I'm like, everything is on fire and burning down. And even still, this is what I said I was going to do. So either I'm going to do it or I'm going to die trying to do it. And sometimes that is not always the best way, but like many times it's what's necessary. It's like, it's the level of determination you need to have for yourself, really.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, it wasn't even about a specific goal or like, I want a new car or whatever. It was really more so about, if my dream is something that I have for myself and to be my best manifestation, that has to be it. It just has to be.
Right. That works. So we're gonna run this track. For you guys out there, y'all check it out. Sit back, relax. Shout out to George Dawn, Dr. G. I know the Funk Tiz Ball's coming up, so hello, bro. I got you, man. Yeah, but check it out. We're hanging out. Funk Music with Zack. StreamYard, we love you. So thank you. This is pretty cool. I like this.
All of your dreams are made of gold. Come to the wishing well and give your heart a spell to live a life that's bold. And when you're walking in the cold night and there's no light to find, no one who'll care, no one who'll hold you tight. I dare to play this game like you care. Like lightning's just a flash in the air. Suddenly, the silence holds all your time. The moment breaks as you start to tear. You're always here, but you would rather be there. Suddenly, the silence holds all your time. You try for 20/20 vision, but hindsight is your indecision. You can't get focused, pre-convinced, you're hopeless. Somehow always certain it's the ending, but never so sure when it's beginning. Careful, your contradictions won't become your convictions. All of your dreams are made of gold. Come to the wishing well and give your heart a spell to live a life that's bold. And when you're walking in the cold night and there's no light to find, No one who cares, no one who holds you tight. And always certain that you'll fall, still you have to give your all. No one else that will if you cannot walk them.
Not sure what happened.
No one else that will if you cannot walk them through. All of your dreams are made of gold. Come to the wishing well and give your heart a spell to live a life that's bold. And when you're walking in that cold night, and there's no light to light, no one who cares, no one to hold you tight. And though it's certain that you'll fall, still you have to give your all. No one else like will if you cannot walk and crawl. All of your dreams are made of gold. Come to the wishing well and give your heart a spell to live a life that's bold. And when you're walking in that cold light, and there's no light to find, no one who cares, no one to hold you tight, and no excitement that will go. Still you have to give your all. No one else that will if you cannot walk and crawl. All of your dreams are made of gold. Come to the wishing well and give your heart a spell to live a life that's bold. And when you're walking in the cold night, there's no light to find. No one who'll care, no one who'll hold you tight.
Bravo. Yo, bro, let me tell you, man, that's some deep stuff. It's very soothing, melodic, and congratulations. It's a beautiful track. And we're gonna get into the track in a minute, but I just wanted to tell you, man, it's a lot of stuff. I love how you went with the horns, the English horns before you kicked it in and kind of had that little Beatles flavor to it. But yo, you're an amazing talent, man. And you know, vocalist, lyricist, production, and I can't thank you enough for joining me on the show today. Here we are with Logan Gentry. You just heard his track "Gold." For those of you that are watching, where can people find your music, and how do people find you where you are? How can they get you?
So I'm much better now. I'm pretty present on social media, Instagram, Facebook. You can find my music pretty much anywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal.
What's the link? What do they look for? What are
they're going to look for Low, L-O, period. That's my stage name. And then all my social media is Low Gentry, Logentry, Logan Gentry. But all my social media is going to be under Logentry. Okay. That is how you can find me. My music streams everywhere. If you want to DM me on Instagram, do that. I will respond so long as there's an actual, literally the only thing that is required for me to respond to your DM is that it, one, not be creepy, two, clearly have an actual profile. Otherwise,
Right.
I'm not stuck up about it.
Boom.
Don't be creepy. Don't be fake.
Like we say in the music world, in the funk world, don't fake the funk. You know.
Literally.
Again, we're hanging out, man. IBM TV. Thank you guys for giving us this platform. Logan Gentry Low. You just heard his beautiful track, Gold, which I love. You know, that's why I wanted to play that one first. I love all your tracks, but that song hit me in such a way where, you know, I heard it last night and I was listening to it. I was like, man, this is, you know, because I listen to all kinds of stuff from my guests all the time. And I'm always discovering new music and artists putting out new music. And thank God, you know, we're able to do that. Because people need what we're giving them today. And shout out to everybody watching the show. I love all you guys. You know, you guys out there are amazing. Couldn't do the show without you. IBMTV.tv dollar store. Please go support that. Lynn Shepard and IBM and Kim and Nick doing a great job. You guys are amazing, and thank you for that. You know, again, hanging out. And we're just chatting it up with a beautiful spirit, beautiful young man, brother, got his thing going on, working hard in the music game. And, you know, please go support this young man. Please go support his music, support his endeavor, support his mindset, because he's giving us peace, love, harmony, and hope for the future. So that's all good, man. So check it out. Lovers and Kids, right? What was that title about, or where was your mindset when you were putting that together before we run that track?
Sorry, I keep making my producer is actually.
Hey, he can jump in. It's okay. I know producers do that. He knows
what I'm doing in here. I'm like, can you?
They do that. They do stuff to it.
I'm like,
yes, of course.
Yes, Mom. CJ yes. Doesn't know how to behave like an adult. Anyway. So lovers and kids. So that title and that song is really just about nostalgia. And I was sitting, I was thinking, and I was just it was a smell. And you'll be someplace random. Maybe you've never been there before. And it's funny how smell works and how it immediately goes to memory. And you'll smell something like a whole movie just take place in your head. You like completely zoned out. Somebody's like, hey, what's going on? You've been standing there for like 5 minutes. What's up? Be like, sorry, I just entered the fourth dimension for a second and time traveled a little bit. My bad. What's up? What's happening? But basically that song is me making an attempt at trying to capture the specific emotion of what happens in the split second that your heart has a memory of something that's gone. And you can't get that back, specifically a childhood memory. And that transition emotion between, oh yeah, that's nice, to like not necessarily sad, but like you realize it's like it's a nice memory, but that's all it can be. Yeah. And like those little things that happen to you like every day, like it just sitting there mind you hear a tune or you see a color or just nothing, and then random, like you had a flashback of like somebody who was important to you or a place that was important to you, but that was then and this is now. And really that song is about I'll just start like that push through. It's like, yeah, that was nice, but dang. Yeah. Okay, back to adulting.
Right. You know, it's funny because Mark's going to set this next track up for us, and we're going to listen to that. And again, what's up, Q? How you doing? People are starting to tune in. People pop in and out. They're interactive all the time. And for those of you that may have missed this, you can always go back, catch all our shows on YouTube. You know, they're stored there, IBM TV. Go to it. Look up Funk Music with Zack. Shout out to all the funk dogs in the house. You know, I love all y'all out there, and I can't wait to see you guys, man. But I'm hanging out right now with my friend, my family, Logan Gentry, you know, my little brother over here. And, you know, I put my arm around him. We're going to embrace everything that he does. Before Mark runs this track, though, brother, I got to ask you, 1141, what's that about?
Oh, so like I said, this EP is kind of like, this is who I am. 1141. That's the house number for my grandmother's house where I was.
Okay, I figured it was, yeah.
And that like that's the house that you see. That was her house, and
I like that.
Like the first roughly 20 years of my existence was pretty much that house. So
yeah, I love that, man. That is such a powerful image, and I knew it meant something special to you. Because you got the 3 1s in there. You know what I'm saying? The manifestation type thing. But yeah, that's powerful image, man. And I just wanted to ask you that because I know the audience might want to know what that is. And I kind of figured that, but just the way it's done is tastefully done, well done. And we're gonna run this track, Lovers and Kids, hanging out with Low right here on IBM TV.
Lovers and kids, these lives, our lives get so entangled. We live like this, our world, our words, our minds, they crumble. We lived in bliss, but now and how do we remember? Lovers and kids, it's this we miss, our lives together. Momentary loss of consciousness. We were lost in thoughts, could not dismiss. All the little things lost with childishness. Oh, momentary loss of consciousness. Lovers and kids, these lives, our lives get so entangled. We live like this, our world, our words, our minds, they crumble. We lived in bliss, but now and how do we remember? Lovers and kids, is this we miss our time together? Momentary loss of consciousness. Oh, we were lost in thoughts, could not dismiss. All the little things lost with childishness. Yeah, momentary loss of consciousness. All the lights and all the sounds, every smell, the feeling right now. Your favorite songs, you sang along, but now all the words, they seem to be gone. You reach for the stars, they light the sky, but when you fell, you let it all die, just like the dreams that lay you up, just like the stars, just like the stars.
Deeper than deep. Yo, you have this real cool, slick way of making things big in a small space, but they're big. And I applaud artists that can do that. Because it's what you do is truly gifted. Again, that was Lovers and Kids. We're hanging out with Logan Gentry Low. Look him up. His information's on the bottom. You can find all the stuff. Please go check this brother out. We're gonna hang out with him for a little bit more. We got some more questions to ask him. And actually this is part 1. So we'll definitely make sure you get a part 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever. Because as we evolve, things evolve, the show evolves, ideas and thoughts evolve. I always bring artists back because I want to constantly stay in the flow of what you're doing. And you're an amazing talent. And it's nice to sit and chat on a Sunday morning around the world. And this goes to Dubai, it's in Germany, it's all over the place. Over there, it's nighttime. So for those of you in Dubai, Ankit, how you doing? I know y'all are checking this brother out. Play his music. Go get it. The information's right there. Support the middle artist, because now we're the artists that everybody's going to come see. Remember, you ain't going to see Madonna. You got to come see us now. You know what I'm saying?
She's not going on tour right now.
Nah, they ain't doing that. So you know what? This is out there. And let me ask you something. With the amount of cut through and BS, that we all have to go through in this business, man, what advice do you have for a lot of young people that want to do something, have a voice, but are afraid to step outside the box?
One, without sounding cliche, do it. Literally just do it. Whatever excuse you're giving yourself, stop. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I used to be one of those people. I still am one of those people who want to feel the need to agonize every angle in detail. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of things that aren't your business. They're not going to be your business. So just do it. How to do that? Stay in your lane and keep other people in theirs. Yeah. My aunt said it in a way that was a little better, but she was like, recognize what lane people are capable of driving in and keep them there. You can only be mad at somebody if you put them in a lane that they weren't supposed to be in your life, that they weren't up to par to operate in. And when I say stay in your lane and keep other people in theirs, that means like have a fully honest understanding of what it is you excel at.
Yeah.
Secondary, have a fully honest understanding of what it is you may not excel at purely because you didn't try.
Yeah.
Excel. Unapologetically excel.
Yeah.
Pretending to be bad at things is not humility. It might make you more likable for a season, but it's disingenuous. Stay in your lane. Excel.
Yeah.
As you do that, people who are able to operate at your level will appear. The ones who can't, even if you love them, sometimes not everybody is right for every room. That's right. Some people need to sit and wait and like, hey, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. If I was gonna say like whatever it is you want to do, just do it. Just actually try to really do it. Like double down, full on.
Right. Yes.
Because there are a lot of people who are gonna get to the end, even just the middle of their life, and realize like the things that they aren't getting, the things that they don't have at the end of the day is because you didn't really try to do it.
You didn't reach for it.
You stuck your toe in there a little bit. And you're like, oh, that's cold. Right. Like, okay.
And reach for it. Yeah.
But what you want is there. Like, so if you actually tried and actually failed, okay. But that was because you actually failed.
Yeah.
Not because, and for me, it kind of came out of this mindset of struggle's gonna happen. Pick your struggle. Pick a struggle. Do you want to struggle because you were a scaredy cat and didn't try? Or do you want to struggle because you tried and you failed? Or do you want to struggle because you tried and you succeeded and you still have to keep struggling to keep it successful? I mean, like, there's going to be a struggle somewhere. Pick a struggle.
Yeah. It's so honest and genuine, and I am so overjoyed because of what you're saying. Because too many times, and I got two daughters. That one is 12, she'll be 13 in a couple of weeks. Hi, Maya. My other daughter is 16, she'll be 17 in May, right? And I love the fact that you're mentioning mindsets that, me and their mom try to teach them, because this is what's needed. Obviously, you come from a good, strong, rooted foundation, so you're able to project this positive image of a artist, a Black artist, producer, writer, a world citizen, a person that is not afraid to jump in the pool and swim with the sharks. And that's what I tell young people. And by bringing you on this show, which, matter of fact, I'm going to put you in touch with my friend from South Africa, Alexandra May. Not for a side note, but I just want to say this while it's on my mind, because I think you would be a great guest on her show. She's known as the Taylor Swift of South Africa. She's got a whole network set up over there. And listening to your music, I know it would be a hit over there. I know she would accept you graciously and interview on the show. So I'm going to put you two guys together, because as I bring people on, I'm always thinking, what should I? So God is telling me, push you to her. And only because she has a show on IBM TV too, but it's just another platform. And I'm listening to your music, man. And it's so worldly. It's like, okay, every music has some foundation. and your foundation is grounded in truth, love, and spirit. And I love that about the music. Yeah, so I'm gonna put you in touch with her, man, because I think it would be an awesome show. You know, she has this thing, Alexandra's Music Cafe. Hi, Alexandra, and it's on a Sunday, and it's always after my show, a couple hours or whatever. But usually, my producer Mark is scratching at the glass, banging my head like your friend was making fun of you. Mark always wants to jump on and ask a question, so this is usually the time in the show I ask Mark to come on. And after his whole thing, Mark, do you have any comments, thoughts for this brother? We put our arm around him. We embrace him now in the IBM TV family. He's family now. So let's bring him in. Let's make him, so to speak, jump the IBM broom into what we doing over here.
No, no doubt about that. One of the things I was thinking as you were inviting him to Alexandria May's show is that I've got several shows here as well. So you are always welcome, Logan, to come on any of those shows as well, because I was really digging your spirit, what you were about, and all of that. So my shows are on Mondays and Wednesdays, in addition to producing the Zack show here on Sunday and doing the roundtable. But definitely, you know that you are always welcome to be on that. But two of the things that you said on your interview with Zack really hit home to me and everything. One was your connection to the ancestors, your connection to your grandmother, and the way that you used that picture in the cover and all of that, because that definitely really struck a chord with me, because my grandmother's house is still in our family history. My dad actually lives in that house right now. My grandmother passed away back in the 80s, but dad has lived in there ever since the early 80s, and we probably had it about 50 or so years and all of that. And the same with my grandmother on my mother's side. That house is actually being occupied, I think, by one of the cousins or one of the aunts. So just seeing that connection that you have to the ancestors is something that really resonates with me, because as Zack will tell you, I try to stay in touch with the ancestors, whether it's through dreams, whether it's through conversations, or just even just regularly remembering them and all of that. So just having that connection to the generations and all of that is very important. So that really resonated with me. And also the fact that you gave a shout out to a North Carolina native when you were naming all of those great musicians. You talked about Bach, you talked about Johnny Cash, and yes, I also remember those hee haw days as well. But you talked about the legendary John Coltrane from Hamlet, North Carolina. And I've actually got a friend that runs one of the Coltrane associations here in this area. So definitely it was very good hearing your connection to Coltrane. So the question I had was, I'd love to hear your thoughts about how the whole ancestry plays into your music, both the ancestry of the music as well as your connection to jazz and blues, because those are two art forms that are very dear and special to my heart.
To get a little overly scientific for a second, I'm certain that there are elements to genetic memory that plays a part. There's like so much research into that field right now and how much it does or does not impact. But there is energy at work in the world, in the universe right now that has been present. Oh goodness, I'm gonna sound crazy. It's whatever. But has been present, has been vibrating.
Yeah.
Since before I came into physical existence, and I was born into that, bathed in that. I'll describe it like as an ocean, so to speak. And you're a part of it, whether you realize it or not. However much you do or do not choose to be sensitive to it, that is up to the individual. But like, you're born into it. You can experience it as much as you do or do not want to. I was born in such a way where literal music and vibration in that way was just largely inherent for me. My mother, my aunt, my father, my uncle, all classically trained vocalists and musicians. So it was kind of unavoidable in certain ways. But then on top of that, it's when you just are exposed to so much and you have a mindset to pay attention, and partially how I was born and then partially how my grandmother raised me was just like, pay attention, just pay attention, read the room. And that's like a huge thing for me and a huge part of it for me. Like, I just, even right now I can call on memories of me being a little kid at my grandfather's house. And I think a huge part of it was being blessed that I had 3 grandparents alive for my early years and 2 grandmothers who were alive until I was 19. And so I would be with them experiencing things that were just part of who they were. I didn't understand it the same way they did, but I was in the room experiencing it. I would hear jazz music, Dizzy Gillespie playing on an old school record player, having no concept of what it was I was being soaked in. I would be at my grandfather's house watching old movies that he liked, and he liked Johnny Cash and Westerns and the elements that come from that. Not, once again, over my head, but like absorbing that. Old gospel music that my mother's mother always appreciated, and just absorbing that and being in the room. I would say is what really composed a lot of like the foundation of where I come from, at least musically. And my grandmother, whether she meant to do it this way or not, I know she was primarily talking about Christian music, but she always did encourage me to like really listen to it, what it was I was into, and seek to understand it and seek to have like a relationship with it, and not just be mindlessly just not aware of what it was I was listening to. I know she didn't want me to listen to crazy stuff, but how I applied that was like I said before, I'll hear all kinds of music and like be able to like, oh, that's cool, that's nice, that's really nice, that's great. While other people are caught up in, oh, well, that's that kind of music. I'm like, okay, and
yeah,
were you deaf? Did you not just hear what this person just did?
Yeah,
This is amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think about what I think Billie Holiday is one of the first memories that I have of more of.
Oh, she's deep. Love Billie. My mother loved her.
For me, I'll say Billie Holiday and I'll say Nat King Cole, because even though they sang, their musicianship was more their skill set than their actual singing for either of them. And it was the execution and the form and the styling that honestly informs a lot of my more gentle elements to this day, without me even realizing I'm doing it until I go back and listen to stuff. And I'm like, and also like, it wasn't until somebody else said it to me that I noticed it's a thing that I do, just because the kind of music that I was listening to as a kid, a lot of my vocal licks will technically be like trumpet lines.
Yeah.
But it's how I hear it in my head.
Yeah.
And ever since they told me that, like sometimes I'll do stuff, I'm like, that is a hard.
You know what I wanted to ask you? Thank you, Mark. And hang out with us. But I wanted to ask you, because this is what I hear, like a lot of people overlooked Nina Simone. She was always in the background of everybody's head. And when you mentioned, Lo, that all the stuff, you know, it could be this, and your grandmother was like, well, don't listen to this, listen to that. But Nina Simone fought that battle where Nina Simone is the only person Miles Davis said that she was playing one song and singing another. That's how gifted she was, or vice versa. And when I hear some of your stuff, that haunting melody back there, somewhere back there, somebody in your family was listening to Nina Simone, because I hear it through you, you know? So tell me about that.
For me, like I love the interplay of multiple melodies. Actually, the song Gold is funny because if you listen to it, that secondary part, there are 4 different actual meters occurring at the same time, just because, well, I wanted that element of chaos, but that also there's an element to be said that there are things that may seem disjunct and unrelated, but they are operating together. And it's funny that you mentioned Nina Simone, because honestly, Nina Simone is one of
Nina Simone. Yeah, she's Nina Simone.
Once again, just like for execution, just like not to be disrespectful, because she is phenomenal, but you have a singer like Christina Aguilera for a contemporary set, and people, when you say that you like Christina Aguilera, everyone knows why. Like, come on, who doesn't want to hear? Just get in there. But there's something to be said when you have a singer more like a Nina Simone, where there's just as much presence emotionally, but it's the placement and the finesse, and like, actually, it's funny I even mentioned Christina Aguilera because I know that she's mentioned Nina Simone at times in interviews. So it's just like those names that when you hear them, you'll hear them until everybody's bones are dust in the ground because
totally. Yeah, we've been hanging out, man. Thank you, Mark, for jumping on. We get ready to wrap up. Lo, you're welcome to come back anytime. Thank you for joining us today on Funk Music with Zack. There is a round table that will continue. Lo, you're always welcome to stay on and join. Mark has a show right after this. We follow it up on the tail end of this, and we get into politics and social media and pet peeves and all of that. So feel free to stick around. If anybody out there that's watching and you want to jump on the round table, shoot me a quick text right now or send Mark a text, and you're welcome to jump on. Q or whoever, George, if you're watching, Heidi, whatever, and we can chat it up some more. This has been another tremendously gifted, blessed day. I've been hanging out with family, Logan Gentry. We put my arms around you. We love you. We want you to always come back. Keep making new music, bruh. Stay safe out there in Missouri. Funk Music with Zack on IBMTV.tv. Thank you, StreamYard. We love y'all out there. Kim, feel better. Nick and everybody, y'all doing your thing. So, yeah, if you guys are interested, follow Lowe's music at the bottom. You can see on the screen. You can contact him, and the brother's definitely open to chat with you and hit it up and talk about gold and, you know, lovers and kids, man. Your thing is so tight, bro. I can't thank you enough. One last thought before we jump off this show and into the next one from you, Logan, before we jump off. One last thought, man, your parting thought before I do my shout out and my end stuff, you know.
I would say I'll go back to pick a struggle.
Pick a struggle. I like that. That's where we are.
But for me, a thing that I say to my friends all the time is like, own your choices. And that's really what it comes down to for me. Like, this life will be a lot of things. It'll be a lot of things for me. I'm older, but I'm not that old at all. So it's like, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's on me to own my choices. It's on me to own how I'm going to like carry myself through this. And a lot more people need to step into the opportunity that presents. Like, yeah, it's scary to like really have to sit here and hold yourself responsible for yourself all the time. But it's also empowering because it frees you up to not be worried about somebody else's approval for you to take the first step.
Amen. Amen.
So,
Amen.
yeah.
Amen. Amen. You know, that's a beautiful way to end this show. And for those of you out there that, again, we're here for you always. So if you're ever feeling some kind of way, lonely, depressed, or you feel like you want to hurt yourself, come join us. IBMTV.tv has a support group for that. We want everybody to make sure mentally we're strong, emotionally we're strong, and physically. Get out and walk it today if you're by the sunshine. Go down by the lake. Go listen to Lowe's music. Put it on Spotify. Go listen to this brother's music, man, and chill out and hang out. You know, go do something outside. Get out of your apartment, sit on your balcony, clean your car, do something. Get away from the normal stuff because we are going to get back to what the new norm is going to be. What that is, we don't know. But for everybody out there watching, know that we love you. Know that we care. This has been another tremendously blessed day. Funk Music with Zack. I am so honored to have had, Lo on the show. And we're going to take it out and end with a little something that we call my shout outs. So I want everybody out there, don't forget, we love you. Put your hands together. It's okay. Ohio. Missouri, where you at? New York City. India, Dubai, Germany. Strong Island, California, West Coast, down in Texas, Houston, where you at? Hi, Brenda in Ohio, Bootsy, Patty, we love you. DC, Funk City, capital of the world, we love you with the go-go. Georgia, where you at? I see you, Tennessee. You're the only 10 I see. I hear you. Come on, Minneapolis. Woo! MPLS. Prince is in the house. What's up, Vanessa? How you doing, Erwin? What's up, Heidi? Where you at? Alaska, Canada. You out there? I know you out there, Australia. I see you, mate. I love you over there. How you doing? Carmen, hi, Wendy. Germany. Tanny, Steady Groove, I love y'all. Woo! Louisiana. Dr. Tawana Anthony, I know you down there boogieing. I see you. We love everybody out there. This has been another great episode of Funk Music with Zack on IBM.TV. My host today was Logan Gentry. Y'all go check out his music, and I'll see y'all on the other side. I'm your host, number 9. I'm out. That was tremendous, man. Mark, did my man Low drop off? I have a few people that I'm sending the link to join the round table. So, Mark, again, thank you, sir. You're amazing. Appreciate that.
No problem. I hope today join us. I sent a couple of links as well. So we'll see if anybody pops in. But one thing I was getting ready to say is that I don't know how you felt about it, but as I was listening to Low, as I was listening to your conversation with Low and everything, I had this sense, and we've talked about it before, that we had actually met before. And like I said, I've never met a man a day in my life, but it seems like we had that kind of like connection. It's like that connection that people have a lot of times, even though they may have never met each other in person. So like I said, maybe it was from another time on this planet. Maybe it was just that spiritual connection that we oftentimes talk about. But I had that feeling, and I've had that feeling with a couple of folks, both here in North Carolina as well as other parts of the country. Like I said before, I've definitely had it with you ever since we've known each other. But I even remember a long time ago when I was in a journalism camp here in the Carolinas. It was actually at UNC. And I remember the first time that I stepped in the room, and it was folks from Georgia, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina. I think the furthest up north was Maryland. Shout out to Fambridge, who I believe was from that area, and Sheila Gregory from Virginia. So I still know some of these folks and still have them on my LinkedIn connections and all of that. But it was probably about, I would say 10 to 15 of us, or some number like that. And I just remember that as soon as I stepped in that room, this country boy from Warrenton, North Carolina and everything, it felt like I knew everybody in that room because I had already had a premonition about them and everything. And I already felt connected to them. So like I said, that happened to me. Like I said, that was back in the late 70s. So that was almost 45 years ago that happened, but it still resonates with me. And I still have had a couple of other times when that has happened, where you step into a room and you're sitting there going like, I know these people. I don't know how I know them, but I know that I've got that connection with them, whether it was through a premonition, whether it was through a dream, or whether it was through whatever. And like I said, I've lost touch with the majority of those folks. I'd say just about all of them. Every once in a while, I'll hear from Sheila in Virginia, and there might be one or two others that I hear from. So if y'all are learning about IBM TV and y'all were part of that crew, know that I'm feeling that we might need to reconnect and all of that. But definitely, I do know that those premonitions happen, and you've even talked about that sometimes yourself. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about premonitions and how they can sometimes be part of our lives.
Well, first of all, right, we're going to get into some stuff on this roundtable, because as we understand our place and what you, me, and all of the light workers are trying to do, we're giving more and more opportunities to just know what we already know. I think it comes down to that, because Earth, Wind, and Fire, Maurice White, I loved when he penned this line. A child is born with a heart of gold, way of the world. So if a child is born with a heart of gold, ironically, we just had a song Gold by Low, you know what I'm saying? So if a child is born with that, then we're already born with all the knowledge we need, because gold, a child's heart, is love. The Creator puts that pumping love in there. So then from there, we already consciously know a lot of stuff that we teach out of ourselves. So when you have your premonitions and dreams, I have my premonitions and dreams. We have deja vu experiences. We've all had them, whether people talk about them or not. They're afraid to say. You and I are just not afraid to talk about it. So a lot of times we know what the spirit is telling us. That's a premonition. Call it what you want. The spirit, the premonition, God, ETs, whatever, light workers, dreams. It comes to all of us in different ways, depending upon how we vibrate. And my thought is, whatever it is you're feeling out there, listen to it. Don't ignore it. Listen to it. Because if you do not listen to it, you will find yourself in some situation you were like, wow, I kind of knew this was coming, but I ain't paying no attention to it. Pay attention to your premonitions, especially now. The veil was lifted in 2020. Now the light is there. There's no more, oh, is there light? Should there be light? Should I jump in the light? No. It's either you are or you're not. We're at that point now. It's go time. We're in the fourth quarter of this thing. You know, it's go time. Whatever you were saving, like Logentry said, you know, like, don't wait. Go, do, be, act, think, do, react.
You know, I agree. And speaking of going and reacting, we've got the privilege of having like a family connection because we just met the son and now the mom has jumped in as well. So glad to have you here. I was totally impressed, like I was telling Zach, by your son. He was just an amazing gentleman and all of that.
Yes.
But what do you have to say to
She's smiling,
Zach
she's beaming,
about this?
look at that. She's beaming. Only a mom can beam like that about a child.
Definitely beaming and all of that. So I know you were watching. I saw the comments that you were making as well. Your son did a great job, but I love to hear. I was hoping he would stick around, but I know he's got church service and everything. So he's got to go and do the work in the church and all of that. But definitely, what was your thoughts as to how he did? And also kind of what Zach just talked about the fact that we're in this age where we need to be in tune with our dreams and in tune with our thought patterns and everything, because I agree with Zach that this is an era where a lot of times we're not paying enough attention to what's being told to us via our dreams, via Mother Nature, via a number of things. But I'd love to hear your thoughts both about your son, but also about what Zach just said.
I watched the interview with Logan, and I have to say I'm really, really proud of him. He has come full circle as a human being, as a musician, singer, songwriter, artist. His music definitely has the influence of our family because two of the promo ads that he did for the new CD, one has my picture, my senior class picture when I was 16. I'm like, oh my Lord. And he did that. And then the second ad for the pre-release was my mom. And then the house, basically, I moved back in with my mom 2 years after I had Logan. So Logan grew up in that house from 1991. And then I moved out of there when I got married and his sister was born. And, you know, when I got my divorce, my son and my daughter and our dog Stubby went back to my mother and was there until Logan left for college. And, you know, and that's when he went to Springfield. So, you know, that house was in our family for almost 30 years. And so a lot of music happened in that house. Low Key was in that house. Tech Nine lived with us. So we always had artists and musicians practicing there. I managed my first girls group from that house. Skinhorn Artist Management's first office was in that house. His aunts, my mother's baby sisters, are musicians and singers. My cousins are musicians and singers. When I was young, I would sing with my cousins, and my mother and her sister would take us on the road. You know, we were a gospel act. And I did that from age 7, oh Lord, until I was 23. And then I was singing backup recently for several years. So Logan would come to the shows that I did as a backup singer. And by that time, he was doing his thing and traveling with the group Heart Song when he was at Evangel University. So we have generations of musical people in my family, especially on my mother's side of the family and his dad's side of the family. His dad plays the organ and is a singer. His uncle Pierre moved to California, did a lot of backup work with a lot of artists on the jazz side. His grandma Margaret, singer and played piano. So he comes from a very rich background in history for generations of musicians and singers and songwriters in our family. So he had a good foundation. So him being in the business, I'm not surprised at all. At all. He's just following in the footsteps.
Yo, let me tell you something, Heidi. I had heard the music anyway, but I, and obviously, you do stuff for us, and we appreciate all your hard work, all you do. You're such a detailed, orientated, spiritual woman, and that's why I like that you're with us too, because I know I can close my eyes at night, and if you're on something for us, I don't have to worry about it.
Oh
And
no.
And your son has that same gift that you've passed on to him, and his awareness, I guess is the word, of the whole thing, not just this thing, but the whole thing. I know comes from you, because that's how, when I met you, that's why I was attracted to your business ethic, because your awareness. You and I met once. We talked on the phone for like an hour, and then it was done. Because I said, wow, she's aware of the whole thing. And I think as his music and what you do and all of us together, we can kind of bring more happiness than people are expecting. I don't think people expect what we're about to give them simply because they haven't been getting it. Right. And I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised that, wow, these artists are sharp. They're on their game. They're putting out new music despite what happened. Because just because their thing shut down, our thing did not. We just pivoted. And kudos to Lo, because he pivoted in a beautiful manifestation way of peace and love. And that's why, let me tell you, I got goosebumps listening to Gold last night, because that song really touched me in a place. It really did. It touched me.
I have a snippet of it on my cell phone.
Oh, well.
So the one with my picture and the one with my mother's picture. And I'm going to cry.
It's okay. That's why we're here. We got you. We love you. We got you. Because we know the connection and we see it. And thank God for it. Because that's the spirit touching you. Don't worry about none of that. Because, see, God works like this. He brings us joy when we need joy, and they're tears. So don't even worry about that, because I cry with you, because I said I got goosebumps when I listen to that, because I see your grandmother, I see you, I see the house, I see the whole picture. And wrapping our arms around that is why we're here. People need to know this is what's happening in the light. Come to the light.
Because I know my mother, she died January 19th of 2019. And I know that if she were still here, she would be like, I'm really proud of what you're doing as my daughter, because I raised you to be a strong woman of God in your own right, and to be able to go out and conquer and do what you want to do. But she would really be proud of her grandson, from seeing him from the moment he came from the womb. And in the things that he was even starting to do, she would be like, tell my grandson, but I'm going to call him too, but tell my grandson, I like what he's doing. Grandma really sees it, and grandma's proud of him. And even Lauren, because my daughter has a blog, she does an Instagram blog for teenage girls, for makeup and healthy eating and exercise, and she has her own clothing line called Hot Tamale and Bubble Girl. So
we need to get her on. We need to get her on.
Yeah, we definitely
hit me up.
Because she's just 16. She'll be 17 in August. So, and he was in Kansas City to do her hair, getting that balayage, because Lauren's just creativity. I mean, Lauren does cloth painting. She's done jeans and shoes and shirts for people and her own design. So I'm really blessed and fortunate as a parent to see my kids. It's a part of me and a part of my history and my family, but how they've taken that history and what they've grown up with and making it into Low and making it into Lauren, who calls herself Lay. And it's so funny. I call my kids when I talk to them both. I'm like, hey, Low, Lay. Hey, Low. What y'all doing right now? So, having those video chats and things like that. So even my niece Jelani, she won the 2013 Louis Armstrong Award for Best Jazz Drummer.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like they have some amazing talent, these young folks. We might have to do a whole show just with the young folks. I know I can bring in my nephews, and I'm sure that even Zack can bring in his folks as well, and just have a show right here on our roundtable with the young folks teaching us, because I think a lot of times they can teach us a lot.
Right, and they have got a lot of insight. When we were young, we would get mad. We're like, grandma, dad, mom, listen to us. We got a lot to say. And so now as we are in our, 50s and 60s, because I'm 56, I asked my kids their opinion, okay, what do y'all think about the stimulus? What do you all think about Donald Trump? What do you all think about the George Floyd situation? What do you just think about over policing of people of color in general? And there are a lot of young folk, I say between the age of 15 to 35, who have a lot of insight, more than what we give them credit for, and have a lot of intelligence. And like I said before, Martin Luther King was 24 when he got started. Jesse Jackson was in his 20s when he got started. John Lewis was in college, was a teenager when he got started. Those people who were a part of the Afeni Shakur, she was 24, in 1971 when she got started, but she had been doing stuff in the movement with the Black Panthers in her teens. So I mean, and while, we come full circle as we've gotten older, a lot of things have gotten started by the young. Nelson Mandela, people think that he only started getting hip in his 70s. No, he was doing stuff for a long, long time. So, if people really look and educate themselves and be open to what's out there, a lot of what we see, what people call, oh, that's old now, it got started when they were young. So we got to stop counting our young folk out. And I mean, granted, you got some folk out there who ain't got a lick of sense, but that's home training or the lack thereof. That doesn't mean that they lack intelligence, because intelligence and knowledge is not the same thing. And
that's
people need to realize that.
Dr. Brookenstein says you look great. So say hi, David.
David said that he could not believe the age that you just quoted and everything. So he's ready to make you much younger. And I was about to say the same thing. I'm agreeing with him and everything. So definitely doing a great job.
I'll be 57 September 23rd.
Same.
Wow.
Same. So
do not look at it at all.
Well, thank you.
I did have in terms of business and everything, how is the company coming in terms of like going forward with new gigs, and also in terms of like being safety with your artists? Because I said, I know you have a few artists. Definitely Zack is one of them. And definitely I imagine you also are doing some of the management for your son and all. But how are you handling the safety as we're getting out, hopefully into getting some sort of herd immunity, and we'll have more people going out, but it won't be full houses. I know even at the Carolina Theater where I work, it won't be a full house. They might do like a half house or maybe a quarter house. But how are you doing in that? Because I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was watching, my team is doing horrible, and Zack knows that I've talk about my basketball team, my Marquette Golden Eagles, but they did manage to get to 500 with a win yesterday. But they actually had fans in the audience. Like I said, it was not a lot of fans, but it's a big auditorium that also holds the Milwaukee Bucks, if I remember correctly. But they had a few thousand people there, not nearly what they would have at a regular game, but it was still good seeing fans there. So how are y'all going to handle that with artist safety?
I have told, because Logan and I had a big old argument about this, and I was like, let me tell you, son, because I mean, you got a publicist, and you and mom are talking about booking you, and when that time is ready. I'm just like, and he did this on his own. He put it in his contract and his rider that COVID protocols have to be in place, and he's traveling for some of these shows, and if they sign that rider and they sign that contractual agreement and he gets there, oh, and it's just messy and people are just running around willy-nilly, he's like, okay, you owe me half my money, I'm out, bye. Because at the end of the day, I understand the craft and wanting to be successful. I don't care if it's music or whatever you're trying to be successful at. You still have to do it with common sense and safety. And we've got these variants. Only not even 10% of the country has been vaccinated yet. And you've got Mississippi and a couple of other states that are, going to 100% full opening with no mask mandates at all. And I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, what are you doing? I don't understand that. So I've told my artists, and it depends on the size of the venue that we're talking about. These are the things that I suggest you put in place as your booking agent. And if you know that they're not practicing protocol and they're not being safe, if you still want to play the venue, okay, I'll see about booking you there. But then I'm going to put an amendment in my contract that you go to this venue knowing full well that they do not have COVID protocols in place, and then you do you, because that's why I'm an LLC, to protect myself legally, so that we know that if I book you there and something happens, you get COVID, or one of your band members gets COVID, or somebody on your team gets COVID, don't come back looking here.
Yeah.
Because
you're right.
wanted to do that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I was just going to pivot just a little bit, but I was also wondering, Heidi, what you thought about the fact that we had a major person that got a lot of accolades and did a lot of things going on in society when she did the poem and everything. But then she recently got tailed by a security guard and was while she's walking home. And I was just wondering your thoughts about this, because like I said, this is a young woman who's 22 and was tailed by a security guard recently, like in the last day or two, because they thought that she looked suspicious. This is a woman that has actually been, did that wonderful poem at the inauguration, but the security guard apparently tailed her because they thought that she looked suspicious. And as a matter of fact, what she says is a security guard tailed me on my walk home tonight. He demanded if I lived there because you look suspicious. I showed my keys and buzzed myself into my building. He left with no apology. So I think this happened like within the last day or two. And she said, this is the reality of Black girls. One day you're called an icon, the next day a threat. Later on Twitter, she added, in a sense, he was right. I am a threat to injustice, to inequality, to ignorance. Anyone who speaks the truth and walks with hope is an obvious and fatal danger to the powers that be. A threat and proud.
I totally agree with that. And the scary thing is the conversation I had with my son at age 10, about racial profiling and what's going to happen, not if, when it's going to happen, how you conduct yourself. Yes, sir. No, sir. If it's a female police officer, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Your hands on the wheel. If they ask for your insurance, you say, officer, my insurance is in the glove compartment. May I go get it? And while I know that's demeaning, because police officers are paid through taxpayers' money and government grants and mandates, so technically any police officer in any city where I pay taxes is employed by me, and I am in essence your boss, and there should be a professional, respectful relationship between the two, but it's not. I had that conversation with Lauren, And, you know, I'm like, you're a pretty girl, you're an intelligent girl, you have a 3.5 GPA, you take honors classes, you're in color guard, you have your own blog, but that police officer doesn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I was going to add to that too, because the powers that be, the powers over the powers that we normally see, the people on the top. This young lady is such a threat, like she said. But was that accidental following her home, or were they sending a message to her? That's my theory. See, I don't think things like that are by accident. A security guard, it was on purpose to intimidate her, but they played it off to be like, oh, well, this is a mistake. We thought you were somebody else. When in reality, they knew exactly who this young lady was because everybody in the world knows. So there's not a security guard in the world that doesn't know who this person is, especially if there's a security guard in her neighborhood, because it was all over the world. So this BS about, oh, you know, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. No. I ain't buying that. Because that's how it started with Malcolm. That's how it started with Medgar. That's how it started with all the people that we love that were assassinated. It started with this fake, oh, well, I'm not really sure who you are. But see, tailing someone is just that. He was stalking her.
Yeah, she was definitely, I agree with you. And one of the things that she said, in addition to when this incident happened earlier this week, was she acknowledged that she was another victim of racial profiling. The incident, she added, was evidence of a contradictory society that can celebrate a Black girl poet and also pepper spray a 9-year-old, recalling how the police arrested an African-American child in Rochester, New York last month. And actually, just yesterday, I was watching because we had a film festival. And of course, the film festivals have gone virtual now as well. I think we were talking about that the last time you were on, Heidi. And two of the film festivals that I've been involved in were Nevermore at the Carolina Theater, which is about horror and fantasy and things of that nature, but also the Hayti Heritage Film Festival. And they actually showed a film that's got a title that we used to go by in terms of the names that we use. So the name of the film, and I'm just saying the name because that's the name of the film, is Negroes. And but it's about the reflection of a 14-year-old in Liberty City. And he was talking about how they used to do these whole bicycle things and like a parade around MLK and all of that. And in the last 2 years, both last year, I believe it was, and the year before, there was incidences where the police actually launched violent attacks against, as well as some of the residents of Miami, launched attacks against these young folks and everything. And they were actually talking to the mom in the documentary. And I remember the mom saying what you just said, that she talked to her son, a gentleman who's actually is aspiring to be a waste management person. And a lot of folks would say that might be not the greatest aspirations, but he actually organized a cleanup at his young age. So he's actually doing something about what he wants to do, because there's a lot of pollution in Liberty City as well, because a lot of the other parts of Miami just see that as a dumping ground, that they can just dump their garbage there. So he actually organized a cleanup, and that was part of what the storyline was about. But I was very moved when I saw the mom sitting on her porch there in Liberty City saying that that's one of the things that she does is tell her son and guide her son into how he should be dealing with the cops if he's approached by the cops.
I had that same conversation with Lauren because she's got her driver's license now. She's saving money to buy her first car. She's almost at $1,000. So we told her, when you get your $1,000, we'll match you so that you can get your first vehicle. And as she gets older and gets more independent and away from us, and she wants to go to college, she wants to act and sing, but her passion is veterinary medicine. So she wants to be a veteran. So we're looking at schools now for her, and because she doesn't want to be at home. You know how that is. And we were like, well, you want to go to school? She goes, can I go to school more than 3 or 4 hours away? I'm like, we'll discuss that. But I had that conversation with her because it's not just our Black and brown boys anymore. It's our black and brown girls. They are a threat now. And and when you think about it, when you look at history, there's always been a culpability of people disrespecting and raping and demeaning and deminimizing Black and brown women. and whether it's from our own men or whatever. And I don't understand that regardless, because we give birth to you all. You all cannot be without us. Yes, you know, it takes two to tango, but once that tango's done,
yeah,
we the ones who carry you for nine months or 40 weeks. So God forbid if anything happens to us, babies don't necessarily come into the world. And I'm not saying that just for people to like kiss my behind, but I'm just like, I don't understand the degradation, not only of Black and brown men, but especially of Black and brown women. I don't understand where this hatred comes from for women. But I had to tell my daughter, I said, you know, Lauren, never thought I'd have to have the conversation with you. Granted, you're 16, you're a little older than when I had the conversation with Logan. But I tell Black and brown parents, you got to start the conversation with your girls
early. Yeah, you got to come
You've
through.
got to.
Mark knows, because what I do, I take my daughters regularly on drives through all kinds of neighborhoods. I want them to see all kinds of people live in all kinds of neighborhoods. I take them through the hood, and I was like, just because we're in the hood, you got good people here that are trying to do the right thing. And then I take them through where like mansions are by the golf course. And I said, you got crooks and thieves and baby rapists and pedophiles right over here. I said, so you got to judge everything, because one thing about, you know, being Afro-American in this society and being brown skin, Latino, or even Asian Americans, when you get pulled over or you're in a situation where you have to deal with the law, you don't have systemic racism to fall back on.
No,
all you got is your insurance card, your driver's license, and how you rep that, you know. And again, I've had it happen to me a lot, and it's just bizarre how people, you know, I had a cop pull me. I had an Uber passenger in my car driving, and the cop pulls me and says, "Hey, your taillight's out," you know. But then he's looking all in the car. Then he looks in the back seat. It's like, "Oh, who's that?" And I was like, "I don't know who that is. I just picked him up." And then he realized that, "Oh, you're working." I was like, "Yes, I'm working." You know what I mean? And so he just needed an excuse to pull me, because he saw a big black man in the car. But, you know, and then he says, "Oh, I'm sorry," whatever. You know, and that was right here in Apex, one of the racist places down here in North Carolina. And I said, you know, it's cool. But he said, you know, get your taillight fixed. Like, oh, you know, by the way, you know what I mean? And never said sorry. Like he never said I'm sorry, never said, "Hey, you know, I didn't realize it. Continue on doing a good service out here." You know what I mean?
Because they think they don't have to.
Yeah,
And part of the reason why we're seeing, and we've always had over policing since the end of Reconstruction, basically since 1870. There's always been over policing of Black and brown people. Where you're seeing it, where it's getting more hyper escalated and it turns to violence a lot quicker, is probably where maybe 15 to 20% of the police were military. Probably 60 to 70% of all police now in this country are ex-military, because they felt that gave them the edge. But while they were hiring ex-military, a lot of police departments, because of funding, no longer do background checks. They no longer do the 10-year background checks and the behavioral profiles to make sure folk are in their right frame of mind. Because I know in Kansas City, they stopped doing police profiling. I mean, and the behavioral background stuff, it'll be almost a decade now. And they had to stop because it was costing them $3 million a year to do it. And they couldn't afford it. And they weren't getting enough state funding to keep it going. So they looked at, okay, what programs can we get rid of? We got to make sure we keep our weapons up, and we keep uniforms up, and we keep our cars up. And the cars, I understand. But the things that for psychological profiling and background checks, they eliminated. And you're seeing the product of that elimination throughout the country. So you got some racist wackadoos out here who feel like their badge is giving them a right to be a racist with a gun. And now, because I'm a police officer with a badge, I now have the legal right to say, I fear for my life and I can kill you.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. But I would argue that the over policing has actually been going on since the overseers' days, since we know that policing and the prison system actually literally came out of the prison system. I mean, came out of the slavery system and all of that. So I would argue that the over policing has been going even further than you were giving it credit for. I think it's been going on since the beginning of the country, pretty much, and everything. So I think that there's been
and talking about prisons. A lot of prisons are privatized now.
Oh,
They
totally.
are for profit.
It's a business.
So this is it's the new slavery. Right. How do we get Black and brown men and women into prison at a young age, institutionalize them in the system so we got free labor? Well, I mean, we pay them 15 cents on the dollar for working. It's not about re-education. It's not about reteaching anything. It's about, this is the new slave labor. So you've got that, and then you've got human trafficking, which is basically slavery. And then you have organ selling, where they specifically look for people, homeless people or low income people, brown boys, Black and brown boys between the ages of 12 and 18, the same with girls, and they're disappearing. And I read an article because Kansas City is one of the top cities for human trafficking, if you believe that. And one of the highest human trafficking days of where most human bodies are being shepherded, whether it's within the United States or outside of the United States, is during the Super Bowl.
Wow. Yeah, we did hear that when we had the young lady on who was with the that was with the sisters group that was part of the Super Bowl. She actually mentioned that and everything. But one of the other movies that I saw that dealt with an issue that I think is probably very dear to your heart as well was a movie called Goldie. And it was about a young lady. I think she was a teenager. Yes, the character was about 18, but it was a real life story and everything. But she was 18, wanted to be a dancer within the video games. I mean, within the video that rappers and hip hop artists and R&B artists make and all of that. But she was pursuing that, but her mom was doing welfare. So they actually busted her mom, and she was trying to keep her two siblings while pursuing the dance opportunity and everything. Turns out that the dance opportunity was bogus, and she wound up having to turn over her sisters to child services. And I know that happens way too often because it was very much of a sad story. So I just wondering some of your thoughts about that, because that is another way that we're breaking up families, is having folks that are forced to almost break up their families because of having to put them in child services, which means that some of the members of the family are separated from each other. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about that, Heidi.
If you have an extended support system, like when Logan was small, and I had to get out of part of the interview because I'm having some work done on my house. So I had to get out of part of the interview. But when Logan was growing up, 89, 91, 92, 93. So from the time he was age 4 to 12, 13, I was really pursuing my career. Skinhorn Artist Management Group. I was a management person at UPS. So basically, my parents helped me raise Logan. You know, they went to the things for Logan and all the other little things that, you know, small children do, because I was pursuing a career, you know, and so I had that support system where, you know, I was, when I wasn't home, he stayed at my dad's house. He stayed at my mom's house. I was living with my mom so I could have that support system. So I encourage people to get a good support system, whether it's family, whether it's people in the neighborhood, because family isn't always blood.
Yeah.
You can have that good support system, and don't be afraid to tell people, you know, where you're at in life, as long as you're honest and right about what you're doing. And you ain't out here hustling and hoeing and pimping and drugging and all that kind of stuff. As long as you out here trying to better yourself, because I tell people, when you better yourself, your family or those who are closest to you are automatically uplifted when you're uplifted.
Right.
So keep those support networks. And now that my parents are gone, you know, my dad's been gone for a long time. My mother for just 2 years. I've become like the matriarch of my family. So it's me, my sister, her kids, grandkids, my son, my daughter. So, when needs happen, and because I'm in a financial position, thank you, Jesus, where I can help out people periodically, where folk would come to my mother, they come to me now. And I'm blessed and fortunate that my parents and my cousins' parents, they instilled in us the concept of the support system, and
No,
knowing
definitely.
that we all falter, we all backslide, whether it's our fault or to no fault of our own. And we got to realize pride can be your downfall.
Yeah, it can.
There is a good way to be prideful, and there is also a bad way to be prideful. And those who are prideful in the wrong sense, you like, well, I'm always out here, I'm by myself and don't nobody say, well, did you ask? Did you reach out? Well, when you said well, that
Well,
told
that
me
was
right there. If
yeah, that
you
was the
haven't
interesting thing
made
in
the
this.
effort, then we can't be afraid. There's no stigma. There's no
Right.
stigma behind asking for help every now and then. That's why God put us on here, to be brothers and sisters and helpmates to each other, whether it is a professional relationship or a personal relationship or a combination of both. He put us there for that
Right.
reason. So I don't understand why we feel like we can't embrace what God has told you is right and good.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and it was really interesting because the young lady Goldie, I'm trying to remember the name of her sisters. I think one of them had like a summer or spring in their name and everything. But the young lady and her sister, they actually did that. They approached everybody from like some boyfriend type people to. I remember even one scene they approached the her because I think the mother had the children by different fathers. So they approached Goldie's father, and Goldie's father looked like was about to let them all into the house. But of course, he had a new relationship, and the new relationship pulled him off to the side and was basically like, nah, they're not staying in my house and everything. And it was very interesting watching that scene because, like I said, he was all about letting all of them stay in. And as soon as she pulled him off to the kitchen table and had that little conversation with him, we didn't hear the conversation, but you can imagine what it was. Then he came back and he was like, I'm sorry, y'all can't stay here and everything. So I agree. You got to have that extended family and you got to stay in touch with that extended family. So if that disaster happens, you're able to deal with it and not have to go to child services and all of that. But we've got the big boss, and I know we also at some point are going to talk to Zack about this new system that he's got going on, because Zack has got a new system going on in terms of lollipops that he wants to give folks. But today is actually, from what I understand, and maybe Nick can talk to us about this. I know we're going to do something on Thursday, but today, March 7th, marks the 1 year anniversary, from what I understand, of IBM TV. So I'd love to hear you talk about that as it is the year anniversary.
Yeah, talk about a bootstrap. This is a complete bootstrap. A year ago this day, we had 0 programs, we had 0 distribution, we had 0 everything, So, but it was thanks to actually guys like Mark and Zack who stick with the program that we're looking to move toward the next level, which is, I hate to say it's a lot of work. It's almost like, you're putting your fingers on all these holes that are going through, especially in media. Wow. And see so I'm sitting here, because my wife's playing the piano downstairs. Okay, so I'm stuck. I got to do something, right? So I got this email that Mark says, "Hey, you want to join the producers, group?" And I said, "Well, yeah, of course, because either that or I'm not doing much." And, well, actually, what I did, Mark. Okay, there's a way to send your content to various different groups on Facebook and LinkedIn. Okay, so Nancy, has this education thing, right? So I sent it out just now to 4 groups, 2 accepted, 2 denied. By the way, you have to get used to getting slapped. Okay, in other words, there are people saying no. If you get used to that, you'll do really well in the media business. If you don't get used to that, you better get used to that, because that's sales and media, man. You're going to get used to the word no. So 2 of them said no. Okay, already. In other words, it's like, I get that all the time. So I just go, okay, he said no, let's go to the next one. And I went to 2 of them that said yes. One group has 123,000 people. The other one has 88,000. So now she's running in front of those. In other words, you got to look for the yeses and not the nos. Speaking about yes and nos, you guys like this. You ever hear of a guy called Lawrence Taylor, right? He's a football player. Okay, football player. So I was talking to LT yesterday. Okay, like no kidding. Because what happens is that, see, people think they're not accessible. They're accessible. You just go to Facebook and say, hey, you want to be on IBM TV? And he comes back, I don't know much about this IBM TV. So I try to explain what we do, blah, blah, blah. So we're in conversations with them, Mark, of getting Lawrence Taylor on the show, because I think he'd be a big name, because he's well known, at least in the United States. As we know, when we broadcast around the world, no one knows who these people are. But in the United States, he's definitely, he's a big name person to have. So I'm working with him right now. But you know what, Mark? Just like everybody, he can say no. Because remember, he moved into business. Football for him is like, he's into business now. So football is like history. I don't even care about it anymore. It's all about his business operation. But he might say yes. And this is the thing. I invite people all the time, expecting people will say no. And if they say no, I just move on to the next person. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I had a guy who was the CEO of Best Buy. It's a big company here in the United States for people who are listening overseas. Some of them know who Best Buy is, believe it or not, some don't. He goes, oh yeah, I'm interested. He puts me with the PR person, and the PR person says he's booked solid till for 6 months. You get stuff like that. I mean, but I said, fine. And I move on to the next one. Yep. So tomorrow I've got the son of the founder of Napster. The founder's been our show. John Fanning Jr. is going to be on tomorrow. And again, same thing. I just emailed him, hey, do you want to come on one of our shows? He goes, yeah. So he's going to be on. And also Shay Vaughn is going to be on. No one knows who Shay Vaughn is, but her son is a very famous actor called Vince Vaughn. Okay, he's in a lot of shows in the United States. And I check abroad to see if they're known outside the U.S., because sometimes you go, oh, I got Vince Vaughn. And you go to Nepal. Who's he? In other words, it's like, what a rude awakening. In other words, Mark, as the world expands, you get these people that go, well, this is America. And you really know you're an American when you go overseas, because now, I hate to say it, you're just an American. I mean, it's
another American and all of that. By the way, Zack has come up with a new concept he's going to do. So we're going to talk about this now. So Zack has come up with this new thing he's going to do on the Producers Roundtable, which is the lollipop system, where we're going to give these lollipops to people that have either done good or bad. So Zack, please explain to us the lollipop system and who's getting lollipops this week.
Yeah, you know how people give you lemons and this and that, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So when this whole thing went down with the man getting on the plane and he's like, yeah, I'm just going to take my son, and I got my suitcase full of stuff, but I'm just doing this for my son with, down the situation in Texas. I don't like to call names. I'm not calling them out for that. But so I said, you know what? I said, we need to start rating some of our people in the news about good things that they do.
Yeah, good things. Right?
And about good things that they don't do. So last week, 2 weeks ago, he ended up with one, the lollipop system, the lollipop gill system on the round table is this. If you get one, that means that you're at the bottom. That's a 0.
Okay.
If you get 5, that means you've done something good. So this week, for those of y'all watching, our lollipop system, our number goes out to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all Republicans and Democrats that work together to get the stimulus checks done. So you guys have deserved and earned your 5 lollipops.
5 lollipops.
You get 5. So make sure you get those stimulus checks to people that need them, because we need them. So to our government, finally, you get 5 lollipops. Wow. It goes out to you, all of you out there that help make this work. I am proud of you. Continue to do great things for us as a country. And then next week, we'll have another lollipop award.
Wow. Yeah, I actually you're so right on that. You're so right on that. Do you want me to see if I can get a hold of Joe? Just a second.
Yeah, 5 on
Kamala.
That.
Hey, Kamala.
5 on that. 5 on that.
But that was the best thing of that whole stimulus bill. I didn't care about a lot of it except that direct payments, Zack, because that makes a difference. That's the bottom up. All this other stuff, no one's going to feel the effect of it. Goes through all this bureaucracy, it'll be vaporized before you see anything. When they send the direct checks out, it don't vaporize. It goes right to the bank account. And it, frankly, Zack, it doesn't cost that much. No. The total budget was like 470 billion out of a $1.9 trillion budget. Okay, to give you an idea, that is not that expensive relative to what they spend up in DC. And to me, it does the most good because it sends the direct check, the direct payment, rather than all this. Oh my Lord, you got to go through this PPE. Oh, we had such a hassle with it. You got to get a loan. No, it's a grant. Now it's a loan again. I mean, and you're spending all this time. It's like, forget it. It's just not very effective. The direct payments, no questions asked. They're sent out. I kind of like that that whole idea.
Nick, I have to ask you, and Mark too, you can chime in, but I want to ask you, Nick, because I haven't talked to you in a minute. But thank you for all your hard work you do. It's been a year. May's coming up on my anniversary with y'all, so
really, wow.
I'm juiced, man. But so check it out. The elephant in the room, and Heidi, you too. The elephant in the room. Let's address that really quick. Vaccine, yay or nay?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I want to get mine. Okay, my wife's already had 2 shots, but she's older than I am. She's like in her 70s. I'm a 60-year-old pup, 60-plus-year-old pup. So I haven't got mine. But yes, I do want the vaccine. Zach, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, they had polio.
Yes.
We had these polio
we
vaccines. I know some people that had polio.
Yes.
It was really bad. They had MR. I mean, there was a lot of stuff you got when you were a kid that just was really bad. So what's wrong with taking the vaccine? I mean, I'm not traveling because of this. I'm looking to travel. I don't know, Zach, if you're in New York or you're down.
I'm in North Carolina. Yeah, I'm here.
North Carolina. Well, I was looking to actually go to New York. That's one of my favorite haunts to go to. But I can't really travel without the vaccine. And then the meantime, of course, I like to party. That's kind of my things too. But I'm not a good party person. Like I don't drink or smoke. So I'm a boring party person, but I like parties, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And the thing is, I think IBM TV would be great to have like a little get together at the Washington Duke, because I'm a member. I'm a member of the Y Duke Country Club. It's one of the clubs.
That's right across the street from me. I live right across the street from I live on Irwin Road. I live by Duke University, right there.
You're kidding me. Okay, the thing is, I was there yesterday. I got my shirt. See that? The Wall Duke shirt. That's a Duke right here. Okay, and the thing is, I was going, boy, this would be great to have a get together because we have a lot of IBMers and the IBM TVers in the Raleigh-Durham area. And once you're a member, you get to rent the room for free. In other words, you get a lot of stuff. But then I can't even schedule it because of the coronavirus. In other words, I can't do that. So a lot of my plans are just grounded.
Mine too. I rehearsed in New York because of that, and we can't get up there. But real quick, I just want to tell you that I was going to let Heidi answer about the vaccine.
Yeah.
My mailman the other day, we're talking, and he's like, "Hey, you write any songs?" I was like, "Yeah, I wrote some songs." He said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, I've been doing some podcasts, on IBM TV." He said, "Oh, smart television." He said, "I watch that." So my mailman, actually, that I don't know his name, but he comes, I see him every day, actually watching. And he says, "Yeah, smart television, IBM TV." He knew right away. So that's just something I wanted to tell you.
Oh, that's great.
Vaccine, yay and nay.
Yeah. Heidi has to go, but Heidi, where do you live? Where are you from?
I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Sure. I lived in Kansas City till just recently, and about 7. Has it been 8? March, April, May, June. Oh wow! Going on 9 months ago, I moved here to Round Rock, Texas, 22 minutes outside of Austin.
Texas. Okay, you're in Texas. See, I would invite you to the party. You can come as soon as we have it in Washington Duke, but it's Raleigh, and it's a little bit of a hike from Texas. I'm not sure how you do parties virtually and live. We're gonna have to work on that.
We've done some virtual stuff. Like Zack has his radio show. A couple of my other artists, are doing their Facebook Live things and just trying to stay busy and stay relevant. My son, who was a guest on the show, he's doing a couple of very targeted shows, just trying to get the feel of what's going on out there. And matter of fact, I've got a call here in about an hour with a talent buyer out of North Carolina. He's on XOD on demand with my promotions partner, and he's been seeing what I've been doing, and so he's like, I need to talk to you about some paid work for your artiste. So that includes Zack. So I'm gonna talk to him in a smidgy bit and see what he's talking about and what his plans are for like second, third, fourth quarter 2021 going into 2022, and to see how this will work and be relevant and be lucrative for everyone to start, doing shows or virtual events, that can make folk money, keep everybody relevant, and get folk out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. I understand that. And I like the word paid. I mean, I'm always into that type of stuff. And so as we're getting along, we're trying to build content for our network. Okay, literally, it takes a long time to build content.
Right.
Then after we build content, we have to distribute. Of course, we worked all the distribution model. There's a lot of different ways you can distribute. Next year, I do plan on moving the whole network into Roku. But Roku's well known in the United States, but not outside. They've already purchased us twice to move over, but we just don't have enough programming really to move to Roku at this point in time. But we will probably by 2022. Then in the meantime, then we got 4 major advertisers saying, "Hey, I want to advertise on IBM TV." I'm going like, great, but we don't have a media kit. We don't have a rate card. In other words, we're just like, yes, I want to pay you, but then we have no way to say what our charges are. So I'm having everybody scramble around. Mark's already taken care of. Thank you. I'm starting to get everybody. Not everybody's in there.
I'm sending mine.
Okay, great. So I'm putting together the rate card. 2 of them are international corporations. 2 of them are domestic, and I'm just going. And we didn't even solicit them. So what I'm going to do, because that made me feel good that hey, they want to advertise on IBM TV. That's great. What I'm going to do this month, I'm going to start advertising for advertisers, if that makes any sense at all. So by pushing our media and our media kit out on the market space, so we'll get some advertisers. I like advertisers because they pay. I don't like it because they disrupt your program. In other words,
you don't have any help pay us, we're down for it. And I don't think you exactly have any problem. As a matter of fact,
it's about monetization. How you can make money.
Now a word from our sponsor, even though it's going to disrupt the whole flow of the program. Just a minute, they pay the bills. Black.
Right.
And then
Zack's already got some ideas of some people that he would like to be sponsoring because they are big time fans of his and everything. So he's got some folks that he wants to sponsor different things that he's involved in.
I do it at the halfway point. Like that's what I do. Okay, we're gonna take a break, and now we're going to, you know what I'm saying? So it is, Nick. You're right on point, and thank you for working hard to get this done. So we appreciate that.
Yeah,
no, well, we definitely appreciate it. I did want to bring it just really quickly because another one of friends of Zack's popped in as well, that being Brenda, and Brenda actually did pop in. So how's it going, Brenda? I see that you're there. She's the line dancing master and mistress and all of that. So definitely a line dancing
Club Funketeer ambassador.
Yes, and Club Funketeer ambassador.
Administrative Club Funketeer ambassador.
That's right. She's in charge of running a lot of the things.
Hi there. I'm on the skate side of promoting Bootsy's new music. So I'm putting the call out. If you're a skater, send me your video. We'd love to take a look at it and see how we can use it.
Cool. Well, definitely, that's a great thing. We need some more skaters out there and everything. Who knows? Maybe even Nick is a skater. Nick, can you skate, and can you skate to music?
Neither. I'm horrible at that stuff. I watch people do it. My wife can do it. And I say, look, and she even ice skates. I go, look, I can't do that. I've never done that. It's like, I've snow skied before. I fall down a lot. I mean, it's like not good for, it's very challenging. And as you get older, then you worry about breaking bones. I hate to say that, but you sit there, you worry about breaking stuff, so it becomes a little bit more diminished. Brenda, what city are you from? Where are you calling in from?
Hey, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Wow, Cincinnati again. Wow, okay.
The culture here is really, and in all of Ohio, is pretty deep. Yeah. I've been skating somewhere in the United States weekly since about 1973.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
It's been nothing but fun each and every.
Yeah. Now, are you roller skating or are you ice skating?
Well, I learned how to ice skate first.
Okay.
And my father got a little concerned about us. He said, no, I'm going to teach you how to roller skate too.
Okay. Right. Well, and, I grew up in Tampa, Florida, and ice skating was really not the thing there. Okay. Florida, Tampa, Florida didn't have
well.
any ice. What ice?
No, but they probably did some roller skating in Tampa, along with the bicycling and a number of other things. So I'm sure there was some skating going on.
There is.
One of the things that I was curious about, and Zach and Brenda can answer this one, is this event that the Funk Ball, is it actually going to happen this year, and is it going to be a real one, or are we going virtual this time around? Because I'm not 100% sure whether we're going virtual or real. So is it going to be a in person?
Well, Dr. George Darden, he just actually texted me. He was watching the earlier show. Out of DC, the Club Funketeers Ball, number 5 is supposed to be, and it kept having to get postponed. And that's all I really know right now. He's going to let me know. But as far as I know, the headliners are going to be Rodney Ski Curtis, some of the P-Funk All-Stars. I know Tony Cam, P-Funk All-Stars are going to be there. I know Shirley Clinton. She's going to be on the show. So, hopefully we'll be on the next one in 2022, Nappy Funk Army. But, I think I'm not really sure. But as far as I know, it might be later on in the summer. Brenda, have you heard anything?
Not anything different from what you just said. So we're kind of in a holding pattern.
Yeah,
And,
because
I wanted to go back to Tampa just for a little bit. I went to one of the best national skating events in Tampa. It was back in 25-degree weather in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Got off the plane, I'm in the shirt sleeves. I'm like, I'm not going back home. But Tampa has a great annual party, national party, as well as many other cities. But I had to smile when you mentioned Tampa.
Yeah. It does have some good weather, and I don't know if you saw, Zack has this great show, Funk from the Front Seat. I just love that show. You know why I like it is because he reminds me of James Corden. I guess that's the guy's name. There's some other guy on television a lot who sings from the front seat of a car. Is like his big thing. So I was thinking I'll go chase James Corden down and see if I can get him to get on Zack's show.
I love that.
The two funksters. I just got to go find them. And like I said, I chase these people all the time. And
chasing them on LinkedIn. That's what I do as well. It's a great way to chase folks down. Zack will tell you, I'll sometimes come by, since we don't live that far from each other, and tell him that I grabbed somebody or another, and he'll be like, well, where'd you find them at? I'll be like, I found them on LinkedIn, and just send him a note. And he'll be like, why not?
I mean, that's what I do. I just gotta chase them down. Some are harder than others to get. It's just like like Nancy's show. I got her on 2 places that have over. One has 80,000, one has 100,000, and 2 of them, one that has 200,000 said no, and 88 no. But the way I look no means not right now. I don't ever look.
Yeah, that's what that means.
I go,
we'll just try back later.
I'll try. Yeah, call back later. Okay, right. And I don't mind calling back later. I just take the yeses. But I know James Corden does a lot of music in front seat stuff. So I see Zack's show. It reminds me so much. The Funk from the Front Seat is like his version. I think he's better than James Corden because he's more animated. But that's my own opinion. I'm very biased toward you, Zack.
Thank you. I appreciate it because you guys gave me the start and allowed me to have that platform. Yeah. And I'm forever grateful, And
that's a great show.
Thank you. And it bleeds into this because we know the work that you guys do. We know how hard you work. And it is a year. Right, so that's something to be really proud of. For you.
Well, yeah. I mean, you basically survive. I mean, some of it is like survival, and then some of it for me, because it's not stuff I do, is half the stuff that goes on I don't understand about all the technology that goes in just to making the show and distributing the show, and all the different mechanisms that goes through, and all the websites it tracks to, and all the stuff. I mean, it's when you look at it, you're kind of like, are you kidding me? Zack is the bomb. So you have your fan club.
He's the guy that does my website.
Really? Yeah. Well, the thing is, like I said, that's one of my favorite shows. So, and part of the reason I watch IBM TV, some of the shows I like better than they have on regular TV. I'm sorry. It's just, I go over here to watch them because I go to the other television, not so exciting. Then this one, I got some exciting shows to go to. So,
matter of fact, we've got a new show, I think, that just recently got added. I know Dr. Anthony has recently been added, but I think you also added a show that deals with kind of security and things of that nature. So,
Yeah.
Nick, tell us a little bit about what Rex has got going on. I know he's got the same
Yeah,
last name,
like I
but we're
said,
not related.
hey, Mark, if I knew what was going on our network, I don't know half the stuff that's going on. So I can only go what I understand, because there's a lot of people that work behind the scenes. I'm glad that they do, because from what I understand, he's doing a cyber talk show.
Yes.
And I think it's once a week right now on the IBM TV network. The whole area is pretty popular, cybersecurity and people breaking into cybersecurity and all that other stuff. So he's doing a show on that. That's about the extent I understand. It's just eventually, like I said, I'll take a look at it and then I'll know more about how the show's going. What we're trying to do is, like I say, add programs, because I need to fill up, to go onto Roku, I got to fill up all our slots between now and 2022. And that means I've got to probably double the amount of programs that we have right now. So, and then we're trying to improve the quality. And one thing I like, of course, this is my machine. Okay, I have my own fan club machine, and I love it because it's like a workaround. I'd like to introduce my favorite person on television, the guy who's the star of Funk from the Front Seat. Let's give a warm welcome to Zack Robertson. Zack. Okay, now the thing is, to get my fan club on board, here's what I do. Okay, I go to YouTube, and there's a little clapping thing here, right? That's on my cell phone, and you guys just can't see it because it's on the camera. And of course, another one of my favorites is Mark Lee. Welcome to the show.
All right.
Okay, it's all fake, Paul. But who
He's
cares?
got his toys he likes to play with. Everybody's got their toys that they like to play with.
I just love the clapping toy. I think it's just great. As technology improves, I'm sure there's going to be a way we can put it on StreamYard and people can press all that. But that's the technology, I think, is going to continually improve on the media. Part of the reason we're bringing in Shay Vaughn is she actually has her own. She has her own network, believe it or not. In other words, not only is her son Vince Vaughn, she does a network very similar to us. She does a women's and also a worldwide network. She has like two of them that are going on. So I was going to bring her on to find out what she does, whether or not we can collaborate and perhaps work together. Because the real thing is, a lot of people, Mark, in this industry, they think they're all competing against each other. We ain't competing against anybody. Come on, you got to collaborate and work with people. Because if the minute somebody says, "Oh, we're going to compete," I said, I don't really care about competition. And if you want to look at competition, there's a big competition out there. It's called Netflix, okay, or Facebook, or one of the what I call the majors. And all the small guys, if they all work together, they may do well against one of those majors. But I'm just telling you, the thing is, I look all the demographics, and we're not really a Netflix, we're not really a Facebook, we're not really a YouTube. We're like in this world into itself. So like I said, I'm not really worried about it. But I think with her, we could add some more programs and collaborate on how to work with her networks that she does, because she has an original program too, Mark, and that's something that we'll probably talk about tomorrow. But
that sounds great. Sounds like there's going to be some good connections and all of that, and definitely sounds like it could be a way that folks can work together, because we're all about trying to find ways to work together and improve that connection that we're all trying to have on that level. So definitely I agree with you that that's something that needs to be done more of, is have those kind of connections. And definitely I think that the Lollipop Award is going to be something new that we're really going to love here at everything. Right. So we're going to just have that Lollipop Award and all of that, and folks will be thoroughly.
Brenda gets 6, okay? Brenda, you get 6. You get above 5.
Okay,
5 is the limit.
Brenda, if you get
she's
6,
so good, she gets 6. Right.
First one to go above 5, because Brenda, 5 is the maximum that Zack gives out. Right. So if you got 6, you must be somebody pretty special to him, because he doesn't do 6.
No, I don't know.
So we're going to have a new special award, the 6 Award, and Brenda's going to get that as the primary person that's in charge of this whole Club Funketeers in terms of the administrative side. So you're going to get now. Are we just going to go for the 6, or can't you get a 7?
No. This is just 6. It stops at 5. 5 stars. Everything is 5. The rating.
That's true. It's 5 stars.
It's always 5. But because Brenda is who she is,
You get a bonus.
Yes, she got that
it's
extra
5
one.
plus
Yeah,
a bonus.
because she just jumped in today. She was doing her thing, and I sent her, and she's like, "Yeah, boom, I'm in," and she just jumps in. So when you jump in, like Nick did, Nick gets 6 today. You know, Nick, you earned 6 for being the owner and for your constant effort to make us better and grow. So you get 6. You know, and you deserve 6. You and Kim both. So yeah, you get 6. And I don't, and you know, you won't. You'll see as we go.
Yeah,
there'll be days when politicians will piss us off. They're going to get 1, and you'll see me like this. You take it 1. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz.
Question: if they really piss us off in terms of the politicians and some of these other folks that are doing bad things in the government, we have a broken lollipop. In other words, can we go?
This
like
is
below 6. We have one that's below 1.
This is sour, so they don't even get a sour. Okay, so they get a sour one. You know how all the kids would always pick out what they want. Then there's that one kid that's like, "This is sour. I don't like it." Ted Cruz taking you on a vacation, doing a snowstorm, sour lollipop award. All right, just saying.
That's
gets a sour
good.
pop.
Just saying. Mark, of course, you get 5. You know, I can't give you 6 because, you know, sometimes you be back there doing 5 shows at once. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I gotta be Superman.
I'll be like an octopus.
Gotta be Superman.
He's an octopus. You know, I'm like, Mark, what are you doing? He's like, he's talking. And I'm like, what are you doing? I thought he was talking to me, and he's on the phone talking to somebody else. Like, Mark, we are on the show. Hello. But Mark, you get 6 because you're an amazing man on the real, you know, on the real. You get your 5, maybe 6.
I can maybe get a 6. All right.
Maybe. The day ain't over yet.
I'll take a maybe 6 and everything. I'll take that since it's coming from Zack, who always gets. I was actually going to give Zack a 6.5 because Zack does some amazing things. I was going to give Zack a 6.5.
You know the funny thing? I don't even eat lollipops. I just wanted to pick out something. I'll tell you how this started. Because you know when I went to the pizza parlor and the guy was giving away Valentine's Day stuff, right? And he said, "Here, have a lollipop." And he said, "Matter of fact, take 10 of them." You know, he gave me just this whole bag. So I was like, man, they're sitting around my house. What could I use it for? So then I was trying to figure out how we on the round table can have some humor because we've been under so much negative stress. So, you know, last week, the week before that, Nick, you've been watching, Mark and I have been having some humor with the show because we need humor in the midst of the smart TV information. I think that's important. So, you know, we just came up with a little something. I was like, you know what, Mark, we're going to do this. So just to keep it different, but it's fun. It makes me laugh. And I think about it during the week. Don't poo-poo the Lollipop Award, y'all out there in the audience. No. And for those of you in other countries, don't poo-poo it, because I will definitely get other countries too. So, Ankit, you better tell them. Ankit right now, Ankit got 3.
They got lollipops in India.
He's at 3 because he hasn't called me in a long time. So, really? Yankee, you at 3 lollipops. You better get up to 5.
I'll give him a rough time next
time. Let him know. Yes.
Back, you know. So the thing is, the Lollipop Award. Yeah, you know, the thing is, the awards thing that I think we did one in December.
Yeah, we did.
I'm talking to Paul because we're going to do International Day of Peace again. Yeah. That's coming up like in September. I said, Paul, you know what we should, because he heads up the International Day of Peace. He takes out this whole area of Times Square. I don't know how he gets it, but he gets the whole Times Square and all these people to show up. I mean, he's kind of amazing. But I said, we got to do an International Day of Peace awards ceremony because so I'm talking to him right now to do another award ceremony because I don't want to wait till December 30th to do another award ceremony, you know, but we could do an International Day of Peace award ceremony. I'm waiting for him to get back with me, but Zack, you could do the Lollipop Awards every Sunday.
Yes. That's a regular thing now. That's a regular thing. That's good. Thank you. That's a regular thing, you know, and I'm working on something for the Bobblehead Award. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm working on my Bobblehead Award because you know what it is? I got all this stuff in my apartment and I live alone, right? So I was like, okay, I got to utilize some of this stuff and put it into the shows and come up with ideas or whatever. But yeah, thank you, Nick. I will continue this, and I'll definitely let everybody know on Sunday this person is getting this.
Okay, the Lollipop Awards.
So they're going to get the Lollipop Award now.
Yeah, because Mark, we did some research on the award ceremonies are big. That's the reason they had the Golden Globe Awards. So that was pretty big. We were bidding on the Family Film Festival Awards. It was picked up by Real Z, and so I had to go. I don't know who Real Z is, but then I went and looked at them. They have 68 million followers and subscribers. I was going, well, we can't compete with that right now. That'll be a while, but they're going to do the Family Film Awards. Homestoner brought the deal over to them. We were entertaining it, but we're just not big enough yet to do that. Lollipop, we could do the Lollipop Awards.
Yeah, well, we've got the Lollipop Guild apparently.
Lollipop Guild.
Yeah, got the Lollipop Guild going on and all that.
Lollipop Guild.
Got a whole Lollipop Guild happening and all that. That could be amazing. And we do need some humor, so I'm glad we're having this humorous kind of moment and everything. You know, my friend Brian actually asked a question on his show. And I'm going to actually throw it on our show as well. And by the way, he's thinking about doing a voice revive. And by the way, he's the guy that did the Halloween party for us. And he's going to do a voice revive celebration in San Diego. I think in 2022 is when they're planning on it. They've already asked me to possibly join them out there and do some MC work for them and all of that. And I'm going to make sure that Zack gets a funk band, his band, to play for it and everything, because I told him that I can't come unless I'm bringing my friend with me and everything. So we're going to go.
That would make sense. But right now, here's the thing with that. It's a question of who's going to sponsor us? How can I get to New York and Philly and finish the music and rehearse? And it's basically the last three things. But what I was going to say, Nick, to add on to what you're talking about, IBM, also too, I will be back out this summer doing the Out and Abouts. Okay, I got the information.
Yeah.
Kim sent it to me, right? And I'm just trying to figure out the best time to do it. But I think it's going to be a necessary part of what we do. Because people have so much to say now, I'm sure.
Right.
Last time it was about the protest and we were out and about doing it and we had a lot of footage on that. And that was what it was. But this time we're coming out of this thing. And I am so curious to talk to people. There was a mask burning in Iowa. I don't know if y'all heard about that. Everybody brought their masks and they burned them to protest this. Yeah, it was crazy. They had this thing. Like, everybody bring your mask into place and just burn it. I would have liked to have been there because I would like to have known what prompted this.
Right.
Why did they do that? Does anybody know?
They didn't realize the severity of this crazy flu.
They just did it. And it's crazy. But out and about here, I'd like to get out and about and talk to some people and be like, hey, pro and con, I don't care what your opinion is. I just want information for our network. And I'm going to start that probably next month. Once it gets a little bit warmer, I'll be out and about. Once a week, I'll be out and about. So I like doing that. That was fun.
Yeah, and Zack does a great job of the out and abouts, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of these out and abouts that Zack does, because he does a masterful job of that. One of the things that I was going to come back to what Brian was asking is, and this is for everybody here, the question he asked was everybody's favorite cereal growing up and also their favorite cartoon. So I'm going to start with you, Brenda. What is your favorite cereal when you were growing up, and what was your favorite cartoon? Brenda?
Did she freeze up?
She might have frozen up.
Oh.
She might have. I'm not sure. Brenda, you there? Hi, Brenda. She might have froze. Probably. Not sure. It's possible.
I'll pop her out. I'll pop her out and ask Zack and Nick. So, Nick, I'll start with you. You're the big boss. So, what was your favorite cereal growing up, and what was your favorite cartoon?
I liked Life cereal. I used to eat Life cereal all the time when I was a kid for some reason. And the cartoon, well, that was Rocky the Squirrel and Bullwinkle.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I was into Rocky the Squirrel and Bullwinkle, but I kind of liked that show when I was a kid. I remember when I had my tonsils taken out, the next thing my parents did when I was 3 years old, they handed me this Rocky the Squirrel and Bullwinkle, coloring book, and it made me happy. Don't ask me why. When you're 3 years old,
Captain Crunch.
Right. I think Brenda's back, so I'll ask Brenda your and I still got to get I got your cereal and your cartoon. Brenda, your favorite cereal and your favorite cartoon?
She's frozen up again.
He froze up again. But David answered the question. He said Captain Crunch and Looney Tunes.
Captain Crunch, yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
All right, Brenda. So, I was asking your favorite cereal and your favorite cartoon.
Yeah, I'm here.
Favorite cereal, favorite cartoon.
Looks like it froze on.
I think she's having tech issues.
Yeah,
but I'll jump in. My favorite cereal. It's close, man. It's close. Captain Crunch hung in there for a long time, man.
Right.
I was like, but see, Frosted Flakes, that was my side piece. You know what I'm saying? I was married to Captain Crunch, but every now and then I would cheat and get Frosted Flakes. I would go, and that's my side piece. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But Captain Crunch, I was, man, oh man, I could eat a box full of that. I used to eat a mixing bowl full of that. My father, because when you're a teenager, my father used to be like, boy, you just eat this out of the house. And I would just gobble that stuff down. Captain Crunch, my side piece, Tony the Tiger. Favorite cartoon would have to be Space Ghost.
Oh, I remember Space Ghost.
Space Ghost, right. And he's flying. Space Ghost was my boy. Because I got all the elements. I got my E.T. space stuff in there. I had my scary, ghostly stuff in there. And he traveled to different dimensions and places. So Space Ghost, Johnny Quest, again, was my side piece. Love Johnny Quest. But Space Ghost, favorite cartoon. Captain Crunch.
All right, well, I went with Kellogg's. Kellogg's, Tony was in all day long. I had to have some Tony the Tigers and the Kellogg's and all of that. So that would be my favorite cereal. If I had a side one, it might be a little bit on the Raisin Bran side and all of that. So I know those are two different flavors, but I did like getting those raisins and all of that. So those would probably be my two and everything. And then in terms of the cartoons, I'll say the same one that I said on Brian's show yesterday, which is I was a big fan of Fat Albert. Yes, I like Fat Albert. And
really, Fat Albert.
Yeah, and then I like those that had like a gang of folks with them. So Fat Albert was one, and then my other one that was the side one and everything would be Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo was wide open. You know what I think my daughters, and they're 12, 15, I try to explain to them what it was like when this stuff wasn't on 24/7. I said, kids used to look forward to Saturdays when we were growing up. That was the thing. We and our parents knew it because they gave us that Saturday space. They didn't have to worry about where we were. They knew, okay, these kids are going to be in front of the TV or with magazines. And it's different now. I think kids miss out on how Nick and Mark, how we grew up, and there's nothing against the times. I just think that they miss that wholesome, carefree, just like, oh man, I can't wait for this. Because at Christmas, we didn't see toy commercials all year long. You only saw them at Christmas time. So I think kids nowadays, they got too much information and it's too much and they don't get a chance to enjoy the moment. They take a selfie and then they're looking at it, but like enjoy why you did it instead of just doing it. You know what I mean? Nick, I got a question for you and Mark too, because I told you we was going to talk about this, Mark. I know we got to roll out, but the cancer culture, Nick, which has really bothered me.
Yeah,
and Mark knows this is my pet peeve.
Right. Okay.
I'm fed up with it. I've had enough of it. I'm sick of it. And I can't take, and believe me, anybody that's watching, I support every thing out there, from child abuse to women being abused to whatever, cancer, whatever. My dad and my sister died of cancer. So, but what I'm saying is I don't want to have to try to seek my entertainment and enjoyment and constantly be bombarded with ribbons, with this, with that, with this. Can I just, as a human being, sit down for 3 hours and watch a football game without seeing all the pink cleats reminding me of cancer, gloom, and doom? That's all I'm saying. See what I mean, Nick? It's just why constantly remind me of gloom and doom? Can I escape it for a second? Please give me a break.
Right.
Well, it actually ties back to what you just said earlier about the TV that we watched as kids, because I agree with you about the Saturday night cartoons and everything. But the other thing that I remember is that there was another time frame that we also had as well. And I knew that generally, even when my folks had their radio station, I was probably going to be home watching TV, I say between the hours of 3 and 5, because I was right after school, and that's also when those kid-oriented dramas were on. And by that, I mean like the animated version of Batman or the Wild Wild West and everything, which is, even though it was a Western, it still was geared to the way they did it in kind of a cartoonish form toward the kids and all of that. So there was a number of those shows on that you knew that you were going to be locked into from about 3 till maybe around dinner time, around 5 or 6 and something like that. But immediately after school, and there wasn't a lot of these kind of there were pitches, but the pitches happened like once a year. I mean, we all knew when you were going to get the what's my guy, the Jerry Lewis and his campaign. But that was a once a year campaign, and the same with a number of the other campaigns.
Right. Yeah.
And even UNCF was once a year. It wasn't done like, you might get the ads a little bit during the course of the year, but the big event was once a year. So a lot of times they were.
Yeah, and it's not that we're not aware. It's not that we don't care, but some of us just need a break. And I'm not saying, can I just please? Because there would ribbons for this, ribbons for that, ribbon, right? But the ribbons ain't doing nothing. Let's do something, you know. And I got a cup that I keep with bracelets and ribbons and all of this stuff, right? I keep it all because it means something to me. So anybody watching, you know me, you know I care about it. But sometimes I just want to watch the game.
Right.
That's all. Yeah. Can I just do that?
Can you watch the game? Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, I think we live in a world of change and fast change. One thing I remember when, of course, I remember when television wasn't even running 24/7. I'd have to watch, and we're off the air at 6 o'clock, and then from 6 till tomorrow morning at 6, there was no programming, and then everything I saw was in black and white. There was no color TV. I remember when that thing came out. Things keep changing, and then the football was on CBS or NBC. Then Fox came and got a contract. I don't know if you know what's happening right now. Amazon is buying the NFL contracts away from CBS, Fox, and everything. But remember, Zach, here's the thing that's going on. That's one reason I want to shift a lot of us to OTT programming, what we're doing. Here's the thing. The buying power, that collective buying power, like what Netflix has, their buying power is 12 billion. They allocate a certain amount of their income to purchasing content, 12 billion a year, to the point where they went to where, we run our program in Nigeria. They went to Nollywood and put out 100 million just to buy programming. Then they went out to South Korea for another 100 million. I mean, they allocate 100 millions like they allocate capital like there's just no tomorrow. So Amazon, who developed Amazon Prime, started their OTT. They've developed so much capital. They say, well, no problem. We're going to buy exclusively the NFL contract away from the majors.
Wow.
And that's what the majors are saying. Fox is going, CBS is going up because they're relying on advertising, where Prime has OTT, they have advertising, they have sponsors, they just have a huge pocketbook. And so they're going to use, I call it financial muscle, to basically, I know, Mark, just watch.
But Nick,
You're gonna watch the NFL on
I'm trying to figure this out because I'm thinking about the average person. If they've got TV, they have ABC, CBS, NBC, they've got the major networks.
Yeah.
I don't know that, I mean, I know a lot of people have Amazon Prime. I've got an Amazon account, but I don't know that there's I'm just, as I'm hearing you talk, I'm trying to think, are there enough people with Amazon Prime for them to have the numbers that, say, the networks would have? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, remember, they have numbers, but they also have they have subscribers.
Right.
They just put out the new Coming to America. I know that. You
That's
couldn't
right.
get it on Netflix. They jumped over Netflix and got it.
Right.
And it just came out last night.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, Amazon Prime and Netflix have big budgets to purchase programming. I mean, like I said, when I look at those, I go, who cares about all the small network? No one can compete against these two behemoths that have unbelievable amount of capital. But at the same time, even though they have a lot of capital, they can be very selective. There's a huge amount that we looked at, like in the movie industry. There's 3,000 film festivals, and most of the films, and these producers put their blood, their sweat, their toil, everything, putting together a great film. If they get rejected by the big three, they just spent a ton of money on a great film, but it doesn't ever get shown. It sits in the can, and there's literally Zach, there's thousands of them out there. That's one reason we're starting a movie channel. It should be launching by October, that we acquire these movies and run a pay-per-view and give them a chance to monetize their movies, because otherwise, what happens? They sit in the can. And some of them are pretty good movies. They just they didn't, if it's almost like this: if Amazon and Netflix don't pick you up, okay, today, you're sitting there with literally hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in a decent movie that people could watch, and no one watches it. No way you can get your money back. It's pretty horrible. We have some guy who was doing a study on it. 1 out of 20 movies will make money. 19 of them go under. I mean, it's really, really bad. You think TV's bad? Try the movie industry. It's bad on steroids.
I know the new Wonder Woman that came out had to shift. All these new movies that are coming out, they all had to pivot and shift in the middle of their production because of what you just said, Nick.
Yeah, and the thing is, also on Monday, I invited Adam James back. I hope he comes back. I don't know. Hollywood producer, but you probably don't know him well as a Hollywood producer, but you may know his family. His dad or his grandfather founded a company called Raymond James, which they named the Raymond James Stadium after. Right, but it's really a financial services company. But he's a Hollywood producer in Hollywood, and a lot of the Hollywood producers, the problem because of coronavirus, nothing to produce. You can't get your crew together. You can't. We were able to do this because we were doing everything virtual, right? But we couldn't do out and about. You see what I mean, Zach? That was one of the nice programs we're looking forward to. But we couldn't do it because you had to physically go see people during a pandemic.
Right.
But think, the movies, they got to bring in the producer, they got to bring the actors, they got to bring the stagemen, they got to bring all these people together. Hollywood's been out of business for a year. The only thing that you're seeing are things that are in the can that have been in the can for more than 2 years.
Yeah, but it might be out of the business for a while. I know we're ready to wrap up and everything. I was going to let y'all see something that I just did for the fun of it and everything, because you can make your own commercial. So I made one for the online dinner party. So I'm about to play that right now just so y'all can watch it.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Yeah. More time.
That was my little quick 6-second commercial. I think it played.
Yeah.
Nope, it didn't play. Hold on. Let me try it again.
Okay.
I saw it give me the little crazy note. Right. Let me try one more time.
The hardest working man in show business.
I try to be. I don't know, though. You love working multiple jobs as well. So you are also.
Well, he's figured out somehow to get the cameras on his car. I'm still not sure how you do that, Zack.
It's a secret.
That's what I figured. It's a secret. I don't know how you do that.
The secret sauce.
So that was just a little quick 6-second promo for the online dinner party. But there was there's people having an online dinner party, and there's text telling folks that they can watch me on the online dinner party. So that was our little quick commercial that I made myself on Wave. So like I said, I found a program called Wave and made it right there. So I'm experimenting, making my own little shows and everything. But there's a little quick online dinner party. I might try to make one for Zack as well.
Okay. That'll work. I mean, see, that's part of the technology that I really just don't even know how to work. I just go, I know it's out there, somehow it works. Gosh, there was the Mind Closet. I don't know if you saw the promo. Somebody did a great promo for Mind Closet. That was really great.
It's a super commercial that Brother Mike did on that, and he's been having some great conversations and everything. Everybody from a sex addict to
Mark,
I don't know who did that commercial.
Who produced it? I'll find out. I'll talk to Zack. I'll talk to Ann Kidder, find out who produced it. But I watched it the other day, and I was going wow, this is a great commercial. It was from Mind Closet. And that's one of our. It was running on LinkedIn. I go, hey, wait, that's one of our shows on the IBM TV network.
right.
It was Mind Closet, and there's so much. That's what I'm saying. The technology, but you got to know how to work it. You got to find it, know how to work it. It's just so much more amazing that was.
Well, I know
years ago.
Zach's got to get ready to get out of here. I've actually got to get ready to get some food.
Okay.
We've had a great conversation.
Yeah.
Brenda popped back. Hi, Brenda.
I did see Brenda pop back in. Brenda, as we get ready to get out of here, I didn't know if you had any words of encouragement or words of positivity that you wanted to leave with folks, other than to get outside and maybe get some walking in this fine day. Because I know that even while Zach's working, he's going to try to get some of this fresh air and all of that. Mm-hmm. So any words of positivity that you want to share? And I'll start with you, Brenda, since you keep popping in and out. So any words of positivity or encouragement that you want to share?
Yes, I just, first of all, be grateful for every second. You never know when you're not going to be there that second. Try to encourage somebody else while you're uplifting yourself.
Great thoughts. Definitely words that folks need to be living by on a regular basis. What about you, Nick? What is your thoughts of positivity and words of encouragement that you want to leave folks?
I'm glad you said that, Mark, because there is power in the positive thinking, and having you and Zack on are definitely positive people. So with that, I don't have lollipops, but I bring my own fan club, and they do want to thank you very much for being on the IBM TV network.
Well, we definitely appreciate being on the network. The network has definitely provided us an opportunity to give voice not just to ourselves, but to a lot of folks that are very important to us, because we've had a number of folks that I know, not just myself, but also Zack, have had the opportunity to share their viewpoints, their thoughts, and a lot of times it was folks that might not get that viewpoint heard at other networks. So definitely we appreciate you giving us the platform to offer it to others as well. So on that note, I'm gonna turn it over to Zack and see what Zack's words of positivity are, and then I might come back with a closing thought or two.
Well, my positive, first of all, Kim, get well. IBM TV family, love y'all as always, and all the guests and everybody that support the show around the world. Just know that we are a global society. We all come from the tribe of Earth. Okay, we're broken up into many tribes, but collectively, as Carl Sagan would say, the pale blue dot, we are a global society. We have to think globally now. We have to reach out and pull the next person up with us and not put people down. We don't want to rise by standing on the shoulders of others. So always be uplifting. Always try to encourage people no matter what it is. And always just keep peace and love in your heart and harmony. And stay in tune with Mother Nature, and she will take care of the rest. Namaste.
No, I thoroughly agree with that, and I think that that's probably some good words to end on, because I definitely think that unity is what it's all about. Unity is definitely what we need to be having in this world. We've seen too much disunity here in the United States, but in other parts of the globe as well. So it is my definite hope that in 2021 and for the rest of 2021, as well as for the rest of the years to come, that we'll be finding ways to unify and to work in cohesion with each other and not working in ways of separation. So like I said, some folks may say that that's kind of like one of those John Lennon kind of like thoughts of the way he looked at the world and everything. But I say, why can't we live a kind of the attitude that John Lennon was singing about and that Michael Jackson was singing about when he was singing about the man in the mirror? A lot of these songs, as Zack would tell you, have also told us about the ways that we should be living the world. So as we think about this, let's live according to what a lot of folks have told us we should be living. And a lot of these messages are coming to us from the world of entertainment, whether that's music, whether that's movies, whether that's plays, or whether that's a number of other things as well. So definitely, I think that this is, as Zack is saying, healing time. So let's get some real healing done at this time. And on that note, I'm going to see if I can't find that ambassador and that plane and get us on out of here, because that's usually how we into this show and everything. Wow. So I'm gonna see if I can't find the ambassador and the plane. Means that I might have to change our backdrop and everything.
Love you, Brenda. Love you, Nick.
On another one of the pages, it might be. We're definitely gonna have the ambassador come on as well. So there's the ambassador.